Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Oh my God, you guys couldn't hear me this whole time. You've got to be kidding me. I'm so sorry. Thank you for letting me know. Oh my God. I wasn't, oh my God. I wasn't actually on mute, but I just wasn't, somehow it kicked me off the stage. Okay, let's start this whole thing over, guys. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. We started, guys. You know what that is? Hold on. That's a thing. We need to do this real quick. Y'all, hold on. Where is it? Right. Okay. We started out with a new sound clip that I have of Wendi Adelson. And so let's hear that one real quick.
I'm usually a lot more fun.
She's saying I'm usually a lot more fun. That's during her interrogation. That was what we started with. Oh my God, you guys. I'm so sorry. I was on the stage. It must have booted me, which happens from time to time. But thanks guys for letting me know. And welcome to everyone who's here. Jesus Christ. Okay. So let's just do this all again. All right, back to the beginning. So we started out here with me saying that within the last 10 minutes, we have a new court filing that just popped up, but we're going in order, right? So the first thing we're going to take a look at is we have this order unsealing the stipulated motion for a sealed protective order. So the first thing I wanted to do is see, well, let's take a look at that sealed protective order so we know what the heck it's about. So here we go. So this is from January 10th. Now remember, Judge Hippler had been saying, y'all can't just stipulate to things and filing under seal, blah, blah, and so he's laying down the law, right? So he's going back through now on things that were already stipulated to being sealed and being like, nah, not so fast, right? So, Cat, Wendi, ugh, she's the worst. Couldn't agree more. I've got more sound clips coming where those came from. I'm working my way through our what was our third watch of her interrogation and clipping things as I go. So there will be more. There's so many gems that it's hard to even choose. But yes, she's the worst, definitely the worst. By the way, on the next Adelson live stream, we're going to watch Wendi testifying at Katie's trial. And she gets freaking obliterated by both sides, the state and the defense. So you guys have that to look forward to. And actually, we're going to watch. So it's day 2 of Katie's retrial. It's a big day. We've got Wendi, we've got her ex-boyfriend Jeff, and we have Luis Rivera, the one who took the deal first there. Twiz wants to be best friends with Glenn, apparently. Dude. So yeah. And depending on how long we go with this one, we may have that one tonight. I have it set up and ready to go. And if depending on, again, how long it takes, I may do it where it just redirects y'all, but we'll just sort of play it by ear. So anyway, okay. So Wendi is definitely the worst. So yeah, so here's this from January 10th, stipulated motion for sealed protective order. So the important part here is what it contains. Y'all may have already heard this, but maybe not, but here's what it contains. The use of medical and mental health records of the defendant and his family members. The rest of this is just defining what the fuck it means to be a protective order. Not really all that important. Okay. But then we have Judge Hippler, like I said, laying down the law from just January 31st here. Order unsealing stipulated motion for sealed protective order and the sealed protective order. So Judge Hippler's like, not so fast, guys. So previously, the court sealed the following filings in this case at the request of the parties. Blah, 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 blah. After reviewing the matter with the parties, the court could find no compelling basis to maintain these documents as sealed filings. So I have to say, I do appreciate this. If he's like going back through and being like, okay, what all did you guys stipulate to? And we just went ahead and said, sure. And like, let's go back through. I appreciate that. Now, this shouldn't, the only thing I'll say is this. I hope this is not him trying to be like, look, I'm going to unseal certain things so that way, people don't complain if the hearings are closed. No. That's not going to be a sufficient swap, just to try to make people feel like, okay, well, at least we got something. No. I hope that's not what is going to happen. But anyway, okay. So therefore it is ordered and this does order. Wonderful. So then, y'all, Then when I was not on the stage, apparently, unbeknownst to myself, I was freaking out over this 404B. Oh my God, y'all. Okay. So what I was doing right before I realized y'all let me know that you couldn't hear me was I was going over 403 and 404. So we hear these at lots of trials. So what is 403? Now in the federal rules of evidence and the Idaho rules of evidence are going to be very similar here. So 403, so this is the one that we always hear about, the balancing test, right? And more prejudicial than probative. So this is evidence that has been deemed to be relevant. However, it's going to be excluded for prejudice, confusion, waste of time, or other reasons. So the court may exclude relevant evidence if its probative value is substantially outweighed by one or more of the following: unfair prejudice, and that's usually the most common one, right? Misleading the jury, or being needlessly cumulative, right? Then we go to 404. And that's character evidence, other crimes, wrongs, blah, blah. So 404A is your character evidence, but 404B, which is the big one here, that's going to be other crimes. So we always hear that as prior bad acts, right? So I couldn't believe, I was like, 404B. So now we're going to jump over to specifically the Idaho rule for 404B. Well, we'll take a look at 404A as well while we are here. So character evidence, prohibited uses. So evidence, and this was a huge topic. Well, again, it comes up in a lot of trials, but honestly, if you were to ask people like attorneys and people in the law tube sphere, like what trial was this like a really, 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 really huge component in recent memory, they're all going to say Murdoch, because they had a trial within a trial within a trial during the trial for like an extended period of time. I think maybe a full week, literally dealing with 403 and 404B evidence. So, okay, character evidence. So evidence of a person's character or trait of character is not admissible to prove that on a particular occasion, the person acted in accordance with the character of trait. So this is kind of similar as what we're going to get to with prior bad acts. So what does that mean? So it's like, because this person did blah, blah, blah thing, let's say it's they called somebody a mean name. I don't know, something negative, right? That doesn't mean that they did it again. And why does that matter? Because you can't just say that because this thing happened in the past, it proves what the matter that is before the court and before the jury in current time, if that makes sense, right? You have to prove that this thing happened at this instance, not because of a pattern. And then we have exceptions, right? So I was just literally going to say, of course, there's exceptions. Keep reading, Chelsea, right? A defendant may offer evidence of the defendant's pertinent trait. So in other words, a defendant can offer positive character evidence, right? For example, we see that all the time when they bring their family members on during their case in chief and they say that they were da-da-da-da. But in other words, the prosecution can't use bad character evidence against them, right? A defendant may offer evidence of an alleged victim's pertinent trait of character. Now, this came up in the Ezra McCandless trial where there was a lot of this with Ezra and her defense team trying to bring in character evidence of the victim in that case. And so that was where this really came up. This is not as often seen, but that was a huge issue in that case. And then if the evidence is admitted, the prosecutor may offer evidence to rebut it. And that's exactly what we saw in that trial. In a homicide case, the prosecutor may offer evidence of the alleged victim's trait of peacefulness. Again, this was a huge thing, Ezra McCandless, because it was Ezra was claiming self-defense. And so that was the whole thing that to rebut the evidence that the victim was the first aggressor, right? Especially relevant for self-defense. Okay, now here we go. 404B, crimes, wrongs, or other acts. So prohibited uses. Evidence of a crime, wrong, or other act is not admissible to prove a person's character in order to show that on a particular occasion, the person acted in accordance with that character. Again, like I said, overlap, right, with the first part, with the 404A, right? So in other words, just because Johnny Jones, I don't know, stole something from the grocery store 5 years ago doesn't mean he stole something from the grocery store today, right? Okay. So permitted uses. So the evidence may be admissible for another purpose, such as proving motive. Now, in Murdoch, that's how they got that 404B in, was because it went to motive. So motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, absence of mistake, or lack of accident. In a criminal case, the prosecutor must A, file and serve reasonable notice of the general nature of any such evidence that the prosecutor intends to offer at trial. Hey, that's going to bring us to our latest court filing. And B, do so reasonably in advance of trial or during trial if the court for good cause shown excuses lack of pretrial notice. So they have to let the defense know that they're going to be using anything that would fall under this category of 404B. Shout out to Need Some Z's. And if I didn't already say hi, Leslie and Billy, and I already said hi to Twizzy back in the day. Actually, I guess I probably said hi when I was still not on the stage / you guys couldn't hear me. So I guess you didn't hear me say hi. So let me just say hello to everybody. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Twiz. Right. And that's what we're going to get to. That's why this is wild to me. Okay. So I don't even know. It's kind of funny that it's like they're even going to, I mean, I guess they have to, but like, does this really even count? Like, I mean, in Murdoch, 404B was him stealing over $8 million from his clients who happened to all be the victims of horrible accidents and, you know, some of them were deceased. Others were became paraplegics. I mean, you know, that's the short version of it, right? It's like, that's the 404B in that case. You know, so then you put that into perspective, right? Comes now. Good old Ashley Jennings here. Let's do our majigger here for her. At the end of the day. Sorry. Okay. Hereby gives notice pursuant to Idaho Rules of Evidence 404B2. So they're referencing subsection 2. So like we were just taking a look at. So they're saying this, right? Admissible. So, so this filing just came up. I haven't read it. But let's just think about this through logically, right? Permitted uses. So again, may be admissible for another purpose, such as motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, blah, blah. So in other words, even though this seems like a stupid thing for them to bring in, this is giving us some insight here, guys, because the only way they can bring it in, y'all are going to, I mean, like, seriously, this is what this would be. This means that stupid traffic stop, it would only be admissible for one of these purposes. So what this means is the state is hoping to use those stupid traffic stops to either prove motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, absence of mistake, or lack of accident. So I guess identity would be the situation here. I was thinking too, because if it had to do with the front license plates or whatever, if they were going to try to be like, oh, look, he was planning ahead by he didn't have those all the way back then, like as in preparation, right? Plan. But let's read it and see what they say. So this is crazy. Okay. So pursuant to Rule 404B, subsection 2, the state of Idaho intends to present evidence of crimes, wrongs, or other acts, specifically the video of traffic stop. If I was on the jury, like, unless they were just literally only trying to use this to prove identity, if they were trying to use it for anything else, like I said, preparation, plan, whatever, I would laugh them out of the courthouse, like, honestly. And the thing too, that's interesting, is this is not usually necessary, because in every other trial I think that I've ever seen, you've got a witness. Like we talked about this the other night with Katie McBanoa and Charlie Adelson, right? How they have to prove remember how we were talking about when they're like, do you see the defendant in the courtroom here today? Will you tell me what they're wearing and where they're seated, blah, blah. Again, because back in the day, it was entirely possible that they could just have accidentally had the wrong person, right? Like as in with the same name. And they have to establish that, right? They have to establish the identity of the defendant. This is really highly unusual. And what this says, I mean, I guess this makes sense given what we know, that nobody involved in this case can identify him. Like, which is wild to think about. Like, there's no witness in this case. I mean, I guess law enforcement, but that doesn't really count, because you have to show that they have the right person in the first place. And that's, I'm not even talking about all the other shit, right? Just in terms of the identity, I've never seen a trial where there's not witnesses, whether it's family or friends or eyewitnesses or whatever, that can't, I mean, this is crazy. So this is what they're going to have to bring in to try to prove it. Wow. Crazy. Is Heather here? Heather, where are you? So yeah, the citation issued. I mean, the fact that they want to bring the citation in is sad, honestly. Really? Again, if you're on that jury, if I was on that jury, and they brought in that citation, I would be like, you're fucking kidding me. This is a quadruple homicide. What are you doing? But having said that, in other words, the video of the traffic stop to prove identity is one thing, right? But bringing in the citation, now, if I were the defense, I'm sure they're going to object to that. I'm sure they are. I don't know if they'll have any problem with the identity thing, but this is, and what's really funny is this is so dumb that like, it's really just wasting time, honestly. But I would imagine they're going to object because just under the law, you know, this is a prior bad act. Remember, guys, okay. Let me think it through. Unless it's because the citation has his name on it, but still. Maybe that's why. I don't know, though. I don't remember in the video, guys. I haven't watched that in a while. Does he say? I mean, I'm sure he says his name, right? Does he say his name? Because if so, the video should be sufficient. And this citation is like, this is nonsensical, right? If you're trying to be like, look, he's a criminal, like you've got to be kidding me. Do you guys remember? Should we pull it up and watch it and see? Maybe we should. Right? I know. Great question. Too fast for Fleece saying, I would like to know what the primary offense was to enable an officer to pull him over and then not charge him with a primary offense, but charge him with a secondary one. I know. You know, when I lived in Boone, that place has the most, the number of police, you know, per square, I don't know, mile, or even just per number of citizens would blow y'all's mind. It's insane. It's like, you're just constantly surrounded by law enforcement. It's really insane. And so like I would get pulled over all the time because my Volvo back in the day in college, I had all these bumper stickers and they were mostly nerdy music stickers, like "Fuck off, I'm a musician," or like "I'm a Fermata, hold me," shit like that. Nerdy music stickers or whatever. But I guess some of them might have been considered kind of hippie-esque or whatever. But like there's that one main road where like everybody would be stopped in traffic, right? And literally, I knew without fail, if there was a cop car behind me and we were stopped in traffic, I was going to get pulled over. It wasn't even a question. Back then, I didn't even know anything about the shit I know now, right? In terms of what is illegal for them to do and what is not. And so it was just every time. It was a regular basis. And it was just because, and there was no reason. So like literally, we were stopped in traffic and they would just like put their lights on. And then it's like, hi, where are you going? I mean, you know, I wasn't ever charged with a crime, but like they're supposed to have a reason though, right? So anyway, it's pretty corrupt. Actually, that's an understatement. There's a lot of corruption there. Anyway, okay. So I know. Okay, keep reading. Okay, we'll do. I'll keep reading. Let me know, guys, though, if you want to watch that video as well, but I'll keep reading. Okay. All right. The state intends to need some Z's. The state intends to introduce this evidence for the purpose of proving defendant's identity, vehicle, address, and phone number. Okay. God, I still feel though like the citation is just to try to be like, this is a citation. I mean, all that would be on his driver's license, right? Or like, I feel like there's other records that are not this citation that would have that shit, right? The other thing is this, okay? The other thing is this. In discovery, early in the discovery process for both criminal trials and civil trials, there's things called interrogatories, okay? What is that's why this is crazy. I'm just thinking through, this is crazy. An interrogatory is like basically like either party, right? In this case, it would be the state. They have a number of things that they just want you to say like, okay. And it's stuff that shouldn't really be in dispute. Things like name, address, phone number. And basically you're like, yup. Okay. We don't need to have like a deposition about it. We don't need to fight over blah, blah. It's like basic facts that like, obviously, right. But they have to be put on the record. You can't just, even if it's obvious, you can't just not say it. So I just find this very odd, like that it has to come through us. Again, I don't think it has to. The fact that they're trying to get this in through citation. Okay, this issue has been previously addressed by the court in the December 15th, 2023 sealed order denying motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of biased grand jury, inadmissible evidence, lack of submission, and prosecution. Okay. Page 43. Let's take a look at that, because here's the thing. When this was filed, this is before I was covering this case, because I started covering this in the spring of 2024. So why don't we take a look at what happened previously? So give me just a moment. December. Wait, which one exactly? Well, let me see here. Sealed order denying motion. Okay. Okay, there it is. There it is. So did y'all let me know if you wanted to see the video, watch the video? Yeah, living in Pullman. So let's take a look, because it said that this was previously discussed on page 43. I appreciate that they gave us the page number. I don't oftentimes have any type of compliment for this prosecution, but wait, what? Page 43? Hang on. This is only 13 pages because, of course, part of it, gotta be kidding me. Okay, just stupidness. Sealed order, right, it's sealed order. Okay, page 43. You guys see how this is stupid? It's like, oh, da-da-da-da, page 43. It's like, but wait a second. Fucking hell. So unless it's, oh, there's two of them. Maybe it's this one. Let me just see. No, this is only 3 pages. You gotta be kidding me. Y'all. So this is 3 pages. And yeah, December 15th, 2023. So let me take a look here. So on December 15th, 2023, we have these 3 filings. So we'll just make sure. So here's one of them. Order taking judicial notice of case admin. Okay. And then this is 3 pages. So public order denying motion to dismiss indictment. Okay. And then the other one, this is the 13-page order denying the motion. So I'm just seeing maybe though that will still be referenced in here. Let's just see. To avoid confusion, it is important to know that on the same day, there was also a hearing on Kohberger's sealed motion to dismiss the indictment based on other grand jury issues. Interesting. This is actually highly relevant as we get into that exhibit list, and you guys will see why if you haven't already seen that. This is actually highly relevant, interestingly enough, because of the grand jury. Motion to take judicial notice. So this is the whole thing about proof. So if you guys remember, they were arguing that the standard for grand jury was proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I remember that very well. So I'm just like scanning this to see if that whole thing about the traffic stop is referenced here at all, or, you know, if it's only in the sealed portion on page 43. Get some nice history. Shout out to Jay Logston. I mean, it's not looking like it. This is all case law, background, history, Martinez. Okay. Struggles. Yeah, I don't know that it's going to be in here, but I wanted to just check just in case. Yep. Okay. It's not. It's not. So, wow. Right. Isn't there always a Buffalo Wild Wings, though? Freaking hilarious, man. It's like there's the things that come up in like so many trials, like Walmart, right? Buffalo Wild Wings. Oh, that's hilarious. Have you guys ever watched the show Curb Your Enthusiasm? Because if you have, you might know exactly why I'm asking that question with the word Periscope here on the screen. Okay, need some Z's. You know what I'm talking about then? Dude, I wish we could watch that, but like HBO would like take me down in a major way. Oh my God, though. One of the funniest fucking, well, every episode is fucking amazing. Love Larry David, love that show. But that, I think that's in the first season. I remember the first time I saw that episode, I injured myself laughing so hard. I literally injured myself laughing so hard. It was like we had to pause the show and I was like, I need to recover before I can finish this. Not on YouTube. Well, there's also the potentiality we could do it through Discord. Although having said that, first things first, I don't actually have HBO. Now, I don't know if these are available anywhere without being like an HBO's subscribed person or whatever. If any of y'all have like a thing for HBO and have like and y'all want to make this happen, we could do like a watch party. Oh my God. Because we could do that through Discord. I know how to do that through Discord. And it would just be the challenge for me would just be having the video. But yeah, the Periscope episode, maybe I can pull up a synopsis of it just so that way you guys know why this is so funny. Oh my God. I'm sure even the description is going to be fucking hilarious. Here's Larry David. Freaking love him. The Car Periscope. Oh my God. Oh, it's season 8. Okay. Okay. Well, let's just read this. So, waiting for a cab on the New York City corner, Larry gets upstreamed. So, upstreamed is like he has all these words for things, right? Upstreamed is like when somebody walks in front of you and gets the cab. Well, actually, it describes that. As a woman walks up to the block and takes the cab in front of him. And then this is what he does, that gesture, right? Oh my God. Amazing. Jeff takes Larry to meet I.R.E, an inventor. I.R.E shows them his latest invention, a car periscope. They like the idea, though they're hesitant to invest money with a total stranger. But when they meet I.R.E's homely wife, Gabby, they're convinced that he must be a man of character. They agree to test drive a prototype and love the invention. I hope it shows a picture of this thing. Oh, and this is the same one with the one-armed man. Oh my God, that's all in this one episode. Holy shit. Okay, Larry, Jeff, and Susie go to a party thrown by their friend, and they run into Wanda, and she tells her about the trainer she's been working out with. Feeling he should, for once, act on his benevolent impulses, Larry visits Henry's father, the former television judge, Carter Horn. Larry fills in for a one-armed man playing Scrabble. This is the part. Larry fills in for a one-armed man playing Scrabble with the old judge and realizes the judge is suffering from dementia and prone to racist outbreaks. Henry comes in and thinks that Larry has run up the score against his father and demands he leave. Larry maintains that a one-armed man did it. In the park, Larry once again plays Scrabble with the old man and sees Wanda oh, that's right. And they fight over the trainer. I remember this. He confronts them, blah, blah. So, okay, Larry and Jeff agreed to invest with I.R.E. And then at a movie, again, Larry accidentally reveals that he considers I.R.E to be a man of character because of his ugly wife. Gabby goes after him, and Larry ends up with his arm in a sling. The next day, Larry sees the one-armed man who ditched him with the judge. They upstream each other up the block looking for a taxi. Oh my God, it all comes full circle. The one-armed man runs into and knocks the judge over as he hops into the cab. Henry sees his father on the floor and asks who did this to him. He says it was a one-armed man. As Henry eyes Larry with his arm in a sling. Let me see if I can find a picture, though, of the car periscope. Oh my God, guys. I'm sure there's a picture. Let's just see. Okay. Most excellent. So the whole point of this whole thing with the oh my God, you guys, the car periscope is the point of this thing is that, oh, there's a clip. Oh my God. The point of this thing is that you're supposed to be able, so it sticks out of the top of the car, and then you're supposed to be able to see like far away so that you have an idea of what the traffic is going to do. That's all it is. So that you can see, oh, you know, if you want to change lanes. I wonder if I can play this. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Will you guys be able to hear it? Let's
mention he wasn't a racist.
Can you guys hear it? Oh, is that the whole clip?
Mention he wasn't a racist.
That's the whole clip. Okay. Well, anyway, so anywho, yep. Yeah, so it is, but this, so there they are with this thing. And so it sticks out. The funniest thing though, if I can find a picture of it from the outside of the car, because it's like, it's just so fucking funny. It's like, there it is. Okay, check it out. Y'all, you guys, now do you see why I was like, that's it. That's the thing. It's the dumbest thing of all time. Oh my God. And then they're like, yeah, this is great. Oh my God. Love it so much. Oh, and we have another.
Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So excellent. So where were we on a little journey? So the Periscope, that's where we got onto all this. So if anybody watching this now or in the future has access to HBO and wants to help us make that happen where we can watch, dude, it's the funniest fucking show. Y'all will love it if you haven't seen it already. It's just our kind of sense of humor. So yes. Plus, not to mention, I reference that show all the time. And there's that one episode with the trash with the apple I've talked about a lot, where Larry throws the apple core in the neighbor's, garbage bin out for pickup or whatever. And then they have a whole kerfuffle over that. And it's really fucking funny. So there's some relevancy to the cases, but anywho, so there you go. So yeah, so we didn't get to see how this was addressed previously. It's interesting. Okay, we can glean a little bit though. So the fact that this evidence was also brought up in this whole thing with dismissing the indictment based on the grand jury is interesting, right? Because like, I mean, maybe lack of sufficient evidence. Maybe they were trying to say that they had no way to establish his identity. Like, I mean, again, we don't know because it was all sealed and blah, 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 blah. That's why I was like really hopeful. Can we see page 43, please? But no. But this is going to segue into what we are going to be doing tonight, which is putting things into context, because we can actually glean, I think, a lot of information based on the exhibits and where they were from. So let me pull up. What is this one? Okay, it's this one. What was this? Oh, I have so many tabs. Okay, so I mean, it makes me wonder if they won't just won't just upload, because it is 3 hours earlier there. Let me just double check and see if there's not anything else after that. 403B. Little sneakadoodling it on in there. I mean, rather than upload it later than never. Nope, that's still the most recent thing. Okay, so this one, right. So, yeah, we can stream it on Discord. It's just that I have to have access to HBO, though. I know how to stream on Discord. I know how to do that. Like, it's just that you have to have like an HBO account. You know what I mean? Having said that, I'll have to double check, because I might have some or all of those episodes on an external hard drive from years ago. You guys might be able to guess maybe potentially how. I'm not going to say, but yeah. On YouTube, it says 11. Wait, what are you talking about? 11 watching. I don't know what that means. Okay, so the notice of filing. So what I've done here is I have, wait, how come it didn't save it with my changes? Hold on. I went ahead and highlighted this and it's not showing up. Let me see if I can, how do I, oh, I think I just need to sign in because I color coded it, guys, ahead of time. Let me sign in. I color coded it and it took forever. Okay, this should do it. Please, 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 please. Where are my, gotta be kidding me. What? Let me see. Okay, maybe I do it here. Okay. Notice of file. Damn it. Nope, it's just got the same. Okay, well, gosh darn it. Anyway, I had this color coded and I saved it and it said save it to the Adobe Cloud. Maybe I'll see if I can figure this out while we watch our presentation I have ready, because that's really frustrating. Oh my God. It was color coded and it looked so good. Okay, well, fucking hell. Okay, well, we'll just, I don't know. Like I want to fix this though, because I know this is just like, so it's like, what are you doing? You know, it's just like, I spent so long color coding it though. And like, why, Adobe? This is baffling me. Like, what? Okay. All right. So whatever. Okay. Do you guys want to dive into this first, or do you want to watch the video presentation I have about cell phones first? Oh, that's weird. I don't know. Huh. That's weird. Maybe it's messing up and putting it when I create, like I created the stream yesterday, but like, that's what I do with every stream. You know, you always create them ahead of time. That's odd that, that's weird. Okay. So do you guys want to go through this first, or do you want to watch the video presentation I have regarding cell phone stuff? Oh, thank you. Turning over every stone says 43 minutes ago. Good to know. That's more normal. Maybe Twiz's YouTube is just twizzing out or something. I don't know. I'm so pissed though, guys. Let me just show you what I had. It was so good. I had it highlighted and I had it color coded, and all of the defense exhibits were teal. And I had to go through and do it every single one at a time. It took for fucking ever. And then all of the state's exhibits Adobe betrayed me. Were orange. And I went through the entire fucking thing and did this, and it took forever. But I thought it would be helpful because it's interesting to see who used what and as their, you know, and then, but what we're going to do is we're going to go through again, like I said, and look at the document, the pleading that it came from, because the reason is this, right? In a lot of these pleadings, if not all of them, they reference the exhibits, but like, we don't know what they are at the time of the pleading. So now when it references an exhibit, we can go back to the pleading and know what it was. That's what I was thinking. So the defendant's memorandum in support of a Frank's hearing. So that, did we get to read any of that, or was that all entirely sealed? I think it was in subject. Let's just see here. I think it was all entirely sealed, wasn't it? Let me just look. Yeah, that we don't have. Okay, so, but there's still a lot of really interesting, so we'll go through, but most of these pleadings we can pull up. So we have email communications between Payne, Balance, and boy, they spell balance a million different ways wrong in this. It's really funny. And Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Email with additional PC attachment from FBI agent Balance to Brett Payne. So that's an additional probable cause attachment. Email with working draft for search warrant for AT&T from Brett Payne. Working draft for search warrant. Exhibit A, Justin Blaker. And then we have the Google warrant, motion to compel transcript. Okay, cast report draft. And then we have the cast report. And then this was really interesting. So we pulled this up. This was on the from the other day when Karen Reed had that hearing, and this popped up, like this exhibit list popped up as we were covering that. So it's I didn't create a separate live stream, but it's timestamped. It's like at the end of the Karen Reed hearing, we went through this the first time through, and I freaked out because for anyone who missed it, Tom Slavinsky is SLED. Shout out to SLED. The worlds collide with a SLED person being involved here, and then Kenny Kinsey potentially being an expert witness for the Commonwealth, and Karen Reed. It's just a bit insane. Oh, yay. Hey, happy to see you. You know, I had a thought. I in my mind, you know, I always give people nicknames. And for some reason, I've been wanting to call you Tanks. I don't know. Does anyone call you that? Is that dumb? Do you hate it? Because I know everyone calls you Tonka, but for some reason I was thinking like Tanks. Because like that, you know, TANKS. Anyway, just as a shorter nickname. So yes, so this guy, so anyway, you guys have probably seen this already, but again, we did cover this. So that was insane though, SLED. Detective Mallory, Detective Gooch, UPS, Payne's IM Communications, the BOLO. Now this is interesting. So the sealed transcript of grand jury hearing. So here's the thing about this. People never get this in trials, okay? It is always denied. This floored me when I read this the other day because I was like, holy shit. Now, one thing just to differentiate, right, is there were two, you guys I'm sure know, but just in case anyone doesn't, there were two grand juries. We had a state grand jury here in this case, as well as a federal grand jury. So, and Ashley Jennings actually references the federal grand jury in that hearing on the 23rd when she says they're just trying to get the subpoenas for the federal grand jury or whatever, right? So this is from the state grand jury, but this is never turned over, ever. So that is shocking to see. And then this one here, Cellebrite report. I'm going to highlight that one, just extra special. Again, this was already highlighted, and then Adobe didn't save it for some reason. Oh, there we go. AT&T records provided pursuant to the search warrant. DOJ interim policy. This is really fucking interesting. I'm going to highlight this as in like the thing itself, as in, let's just highlight it right here. Letter from Latah County. They can't, this prosecuting is spelled wrong. Attorney dated 6/24/24 regarding databases search. So a number of noteworthy things here. If I can just highlight like a regular person. Let's get that R in there. Okay. So from 6/24/24, the prosecuting regarding databases searched. Remember how we've been saying all along, how, like, well, I've been saying like how they plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan, you know, all the way through. It's like the fact that they waited until, oh my God, why? They waited until June 24th, 2024 to even have this communication goes to show you just where their heads are at with all this, right? Denise is here. Yay, Denise. Happy, happy, happy. So happy to see you again. Woo. Remind me where you're at, Toes. Or I don't know that you've said because usually I remember. But wherever Toes is at, it's super foggy. Super froggy. Yesterday, it was in the 70s here. It was like summer, sunny 70s. And then today it's back in the 30s. So This is interesting, though. Shoe print outside of Dylan Mortenson's room. Dylan Mortenson's interview. Lab reports. Sealed letters. Again, I just find this very interesting. I'm going to highlight these two. The sealed letters. Sealed letters between Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the FBI. At least on the bright side, they spelled prosecuting correctly this time. And then we have another here, sealed letter dated 11/28/23 from the FBI. And we have a sound clip for that now. Hold on.
The FBI!
There it is. Sweet. Yes. Latah County Prosecuting Attorney. Again, this is, I think, supposed to say Slavinsky, but the typing is rough on this. That's the CV for him and I.R.E. Messaging with pain. And this, of course, was important. We pointed out last time as well. No connection with the fibers in the hair, right? Remember, you guys, I'm sure y'all remember when there was much ado made about the hairs and maybe it's a dog hair and whatever the fuck. Anyway, now we know. So these are all, again, these have been all the defense exhibits, right? ISP forensics. DNA 12323. I wonder if that's the unknown. What do you guys think this is? Is that the unknown males? Interesting. Or no, that might be, well, I was gonna say it's not his buccal swab. I mean, interesting. What do you guys think that is? Oh, okay. So Toes is in, oh, you're in Arkansas. Okay. But from Spokane. Oh, okay, cool. Arkansas. Yes. And we went over that earlier. I don't even know. It's so, I mean, for those of you, should we go over it again? For those of you guys who are just now getting here, Denise, I know you probably have thoughts. So the thing is that it's not possible to be BK's results, and here's why, right? Because like they had the results of the DNA from the knife sheath anyway, I guess. Like they had the DNA from the knife sheath early, right? Like before the 29th. So are you thinking from the buccal swab? Because I feel like that also would have been done before then. Like he was arrested. Yeah, there's no way. That can't be anything related to the sheath, and it can't be related to BK. That has to be some other DNA. I'm in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm in North Carolina. Oh, two different ones. No, it wouldn't take 3 weeks. Yeah, go ahead and check something. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, that's a good thought. Results from his apartment. That's a good thought, Twiz. And like, too, if you compare it to this, right? So this is 123. So this is lab. Well, okay. Could be, right? So lab report from 12723, no connection. So, and then also 22823, no connection. So 12723. Yeah. It could be DNA from his apartment. Now, I don't know why they would. I guess they collected DNA from something, right? Not knowing whose it was from his apartment, hoping it would be a victim's, and it wasn't, I guess. That's probably what that was. That would make sense. Oh my God, why? That would make sense. Hello again, P. Fox. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I haven't even done any commands. Oh my God, Nightbot. I'm so sorry, Nightbot, and I'm so sorry for everybody who didn't get special Nightbot shout outs. Toes says, thank you for applying your expertise to the Great Pacific North. Oh, well, you're welcome. I don't know about expertise, but thank you. I'm glad. I just am happy you guys are here and that we can go through all this, you know, with from a, you know, what's the right word? Like an analytical, if you will, standpoint. You know what I mean? No drama, no nothing, no silliness like that. But we're just squirreling over here. You know what I mean? Isn't Nightbot just the absolute freaking cutest? Freaking love Nightbot. Right. That makes sense because again, they would have thought, or maybe they're hoping it could be from a victim or whatever, right? And so that would make sense, especially considering we have the fibers coming back on the 27th, right? That would actually take longer. We learned a whole lot about how that all works in the Casey Anthony trial with the hair analysis. It's a whole thing. Definitely not as cut and dry. So that would make sense if they were all collected and then that came back later. So then we have, so these are the state's exhibits again. Dylan interview, FBI Special Agent Hill, screenshot, and then I find this a biology report, like on the fish the fish of the ocean. Like when I see biology report, I picture being in 3rd grade and it's like, you know, the fish in the ocean type of thing. Like what the fuck? Interesting. Like why is it called that? Biology report. Oh, and dated 5/23/23. So that's after the state grand jury. So now we're on to the next pleading. So all the exhibits from the defendant's memo in support. And again, these are all the fucking sealed ones. Okay, so we have defense exhibit, email between Gammett and Mooney. Now, do y'all know who they are? I don't know who they are, but we can totally look into it. Like, I'm going to highlight this. Yeah. Although, as we learned, it won't be highlighted when we refer back to this tomorrow or whenever, but whatever. Okay. Email between Gammett and Mooney, read contact for FBI, and that should say genealogy, but spelling. And don't worry, we're also going to take a look at some of this case law. We got more sealed letters. Jesus Christ. Sealed letters between Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the FBI. Do you all know who they are? Let me see. Gammett, G-A-M, oh, it could be spelled wrong because they spelled a lot of shit wrong on here. Let me see if I can find. Let me try this. Idaho. Sorry. I doubt this is the same Gammett, but there's a Gammett versus the Idaho State Board of Corrections, a court case filed against the Idaho State Board of Corrections. What? That can't be the same Gammett, but wow. What? It's from 2005. No, it's got to be a different Gammett. Okay. Wow. So, well, that's what's coming up, though. That's not helpful. There's another Gammett. So there's a Linda K. Gammett who passed away on August 9th of 2023 in Idaho. Randall Gammett. Interesting. Let me see what you guys are saying. Right. There you go. There you go. Idaho. Yes, indeed we do. Okay. Yeah, I think it is probably stuff, you know, they took the swabs from the apartment. That would make sense because of the fact that they got the hairs back on the 27th. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not able to find. So what was the other one? Mooney. mean, these are unique names, right? So it seems like should be able to find something. So I'm just doing a searchy here, searchy search. So there's a Tim Mooney who is part of the he's the deputy athletic director at University of Idaho Athletics. Huh. Let me go back. So email between Gammett and Mooney, recontact for FBI. And that's interesting, right? I mean, those can't be FBI agents because they wouldn't have their freaking names listed there, right? I don't know. Heather would probably know, I feel like, because she does all that, the astrology. Okay, so we're going to take a quick little jaunt over to cell phone land, and we're going to take a quick little watch at this. So you guys ready? So we have another presentation here. So a couple things. So I had mentioned in previous live streams there's a clip with Bob Motta talking about Murdoch from being on Lawyer You Know the podcast. Is short, but just so we've got that, and then we've got some Andrea Burkhart, and then I've got all this stuff where we're going to go through some things here with the cell phones. So
It's a house.
You know, it's like when they built that timeline in terms of the time of death with Paul and Maggie's phone and Murdoch, it blew my mind. That was like the first time I had ever really, in my memory, come across where a prosecutor was really able to build a pretty comprehensive time of death based on phone usage or lack thereof, based on historical usage of Paul's phone. You know what I mean? It was like, and this isn't that. Like they've got it where it's like the phone stopped moving.
he's talking about Delphi, obviously.
According to her, Libby's Apple Health data. And that's it.
Okay. Andrea Burkhart comments on the cell phone.
They say they have all this data analyzed, and they say they now need 6 months worth of phone records for Bryan Kohberger's phone. They do acknowledge that his phone wasn't contained within the Geofence when they looked at the
His phone wasn't contained in the Geofence. Ding, 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 ding. His phone wasn't in the Geofence. Kind of important. If his phone was anything other than powered down, his phone would be in the Geofence. Because his phone can be in airplane mode and still be in the Geofence. His phone, I mean, I guess he could have all of his location sharing stuff turned off. I'm not sure, though, that would still keep him out of the Geofence because there's emergency services location stuff in your phone that I'm not 100% sure you can shut off.
Okay, first of all, do you guys remember me mentioning that like 2 weeks ago, maybe, about how that's the only exception is the emergency? So okay, but don't worry, Andrea, I'm going to answer your questions here. All right. 1, does turning location services off stop geofencing? Okay. So there we go. So, I mean, kind of goes without saying, right? But if your location services are turned off, geofencing will not work. Okay. But that's not the biggest question here. But is that enough to stop all tracking? Okay. This is the part about the emergency services, right? So another reason the cellular system continuously tracks you is that cell phone providers are required by law to track your phone's location for emergency services. This means that even if you've turned off location services on your device, your phone is still communicating with nearby cell towers, allowing your provider to pinpoint your location in the event of an emergency. And then at the bottom there, it says this means that even if we are not being actively tracked in real time, our historic location is still being recorded in CDRs. So solution to this, right? If you're wanting to not be tracked, right? Location services disabled and airplane mode toggled on or powered off. So the part that Andrea didn't, I guess she was thinking like, okay, well, if you have location services turned off, that wouldn't be enough because of this situation with the cell towers because of the emergency services. So, but the solution would be both. Like if you have location services disabled and airplane mode toggled on, or you could have it powered off and then that That's only the one thing you have to do. Okay.
So
Hi, Meg.
rules out the option in the PC affidavit, right? They said there's a couple
By
of
the way, I love this beer me. That's like, where'd it go? An office reference in my world. We don't have a command for beer me, but we can make one. Or we could, if you want this to be your command, it could be like your name and then the command is beer me. But love that, whether it was an office reference or not. Okay, but let me back it up a second here just so we can hear the full statement from her. Okay.
So rules out the option in the PC affidavit, right? They said there's a couple of options for why his phone wasn't connecting, right? Why they don't have him pinging. And the same type of thing applies. It's different. The ping is to the cell tower. The geofence, you're typically, it can include the cell site stuff, but you're typically talking now about GPS. You're talking about satellite-based location stuff. And the explanation in the PC affidavit for why his phone didn't ping is because it was powered off or put in airplane mode. Wouldn't be in airplane mode if he's not in the geofence. That can't be it. So it has to be the phone was powered off.
Okay, so first thing, what was the range of the geofence? This got me thinking about the geofence, right? This is important, guys. There it is highlighted at the top. The geofence was only half a mile from the crime scene. Half a mile. And don't worry, I'm still working on all these maps and I've got that mapped out so you guys can see that range. But basically, that's like immediately surrounding the house on 122 King Road. So I think it would be easy to kind of imagine that like the geofence is like covering all of Moscow or all of Moscow and Pullman, right? Or whatever. It sounds kind of like maybe that's what Andrea is referencing. But the point that I wanted to make here is that not showing up in the geofence, while important, is not the best way to determine the status of the phone, because that would only be relevant if for sure that phone is right near the house, right? During the hours of 3 and 5. So you guys can see why that could be thing. Meg, you have walking pneumonia? No. She does look a bit different. I noticed that as well. Yeah. I'm sorry you're still sick. We do have a command for that, though. Hope you feel better soon. Oh, well, now you guys know, y'all. So I hope, like, here's the thing. If people be talking about the geofence, right? What people not be talking about that I've heard of is the size of the geofence. And you can tell them, like, this is from the you know how there's like the AT&T first warrant and the AT&T second warrant, right? And they reference that as the 48-hour warrant, right? And then the other one, the first AT&T warrant is actually the geofencing, right? This warrant. And so I've gone through that a bunch of times too, but that's what this is from. So that's the location. It's half a mile. So again, I've got maps I'm working on. It's quite an undertaking that will show you guys the radius, but I'm sure most of you guys can picture because half a mile is not far at all. That's the radius. So y'all can be people putting facts out there with that for sure. Not to my knowledge. We can double check because it would be in this document, but I thought there was only one. Does anybody else know? She is in every chat. That's right. Yeah. That's hilarious. Look at how cute Nightbot is. That's so cute. We will double check. We'll double check on that after this video. How about that? Okay. We know cell phones don't log events for 1, powering the phone off voluntarily, and 2, switching airplane mode on or off. I'm making a distinction here because the phones do log an event if it dies, if the battery dies, okay? If there's a battery, what they call a power event, meaning with the battery, that event will log and that would be found in the extraction. So again, we know cell phones don't log events for powering the phone off voluntarily and switching airplane mode on or off. So you guys can maybe see where this is going with the next natural question, which brings us to our next question. What about disabling location services? So the next thing I wanted to know is, okay, so if you turn location services on or off, would that show up in a Cellebrite report? Now, this is interesting. This is different than airplane mode and voluntarily powering the phone off because it can. So generally won't, but like at the bottom there, it's highlighted. So system logs. Advanced extraction methods may be able to access system logs that could potentially show the time and date when location services were disabled. So there you go. So potentially could find that information if it happened. How else can a cell phone be tracked? Okay. Whether you have an iOS or Android, there are ways it can be tracked even if location services are turned off. If you have an Android phone and the Find My Device app, you can go log into your Google account, use Google Maps to check your phone's location history. So then, of course, cell towers, right? The US has more than 307,000 cell towers, blah, blah, blah. We know all this, right? Public Wi-Fi. A smartphone that has Wi-Fi enabled communicates with nearby. And I remember seeing somebody ask about Wi-Fi recently. I don't remember. I think it might have been on one of my live streams. Anyway, okay, a smartphone that has Wi-Fi enabled communicates with nearby Wi-Fi networks, even if it's not connected to one. Does this sound reminiscent, guys, of what I've been saying, right? So that even if it's not connected to one, it's still going to communicate with them, right? Your device automatically scans Wi-Fi access points nearby and notes the signal strength. That's going to come up again later. So, in other words, for these two categories, right, cell towers and Wi-Fi, what would be the reason when I say solution? It's like, what would mean that you couldn't be tracked given this? Airplane mode or powered off? So we're going through all, basically, this is like process of elimination of going through all the different circumstances and what it would take to thwart them. Okay. Cell site simulators. So otherwise known as stingrays, they mimic cell phone towers. They trick your phone into pinging it, right? Let's see. Stingrays cause cell phones to connect to them rather than to legitimate cell towers by transmitting a stronger signal from that of the cell towers. Now, remember, we learned that when we did our presentation, advanced cellular analysis presentation, that the way that a phone chooses which tower and which sector of a tower to ping from is not based on distance or proximity. It's based on signal strength. And so that's why I highlighted this, because that makes sense, right? It's going to go to wherever the signal is the strongest, and that can vary. It might not be the closest tower. So that's what this makes perfect sense, right? These stingray things, they make a stronger signal. The cell phone's going to connect to that. Solution to that one: airplane mode or powered off. All right, Twiz, what if the phone is out of service? Okay, can a phone be tracked if it's turned off? A phone that is turned off is difficult to track because it stops sending signals to cell towers. However, the service provider or internet provider can show the last location once it's switched back on. Does that ring a bell? Reporting back to the network. So let's make sure no one's confused. It can't be tracked. What they're saying, though, is it can show the last location when it reports back to the network, right? Having said that, if you've got location services disabled and airplane mode on, and you turn your phone off, and then you power it back on, this would not apply. There would be no location. Like that's the way that you do it. If you're gonna, if you're like, I'm gonna be doing some criming things, and not that I'm trying to help anyone crime, but like that's how you do it. Okay, because otherwise, if you just power it off and then back on, if you've got location services and airplane mode, and those are airplane mode is off and location services are on, then yeah, it's going to show where you are when it's switched. Now, maybe you don't care. It doesn't, I'm just going through all the different instances of how this would work, right? Reporting back to the network. Can a phone be tracked with no cell service or connection? No cell service or connection. Even without cell service, Android devices and iPhones can be tracked. Your phone's mapping apps can track your phone's location without an internet connection. Again, that matters because if you're out of service, you're probably not going to have internet either, right? So this is GPS works in two ways, blah, blah, blah. It uses locations of cell phone towers and known Wi-Fi networks to figure out where you are, uses data from GPS satellites. Okay. Can a phone be tracked when it's in airplane mode? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me play this because I think there's another thing that pops up. Aha, yes. Solution. This is for this solution here. So this is for if a phone has no cell service or no connection and is still not going to be able to be tracked. So solution, location services disabled or powered off. So you'll notice the difference from the previous slide was those were related to airplane mode. So those solutions for those were airplane mode or powered off. Now we're on to location. So the solution, location services disabled or powered off. Okay, next. Can a phone be tracked when it's in airplane mode? Yes, your phone can be tracked when it's in airplane mode. While it does turn off Wi-Fi and cellular services, airplane mode doesn't turn off GPS. Are you guys seeing a pattern here? And is this making sense, right? You got to cover all your bases, right? You've got GPS location, and then you've got your cellular services, and there's location from that as well. And you've got your airplane mode and your, your location services. Hopefully this is making sense. So, you'll have to disable your GPS on your device and turn on airplane mode to prevent your phone from being tracked. Literally what I was just saying. Like, in other words, if it's on airplane mode, that's not enough. It has to have airplane mode and location services disabled. So, solution, location services disabled or powered off. Okay, now here's the good part. In summary, in order for a cell phone to stop reporting to a network and be therefore untrackable, whether done intentionally by the phone's user or not, the following conditions have to be met. Hold on, or not be in the area. So do you mean out of service, or do you mean, are you referencing the geofencing? Because we know the phone, well, that's only the half a mile radius, right? So I'm thinking bigger picture here in terms of what will come out at trial, what they'll be able to, like what they potentially could get from the phone, right? So I'm not talking about just in order for a probable cause, right? I'm talking about like past that, like into trial, like the Cellebrite extraction, right? Basically. So if that makes sense. Okay, so in order for a phone to stop reporting to a network and be therefore untrackable, whether done intentionally by the phone's user or not, the following conditions have to be met. If in an area with cell service, a phone must, 1, have airplane mode toggled on and location services disabled, or be powered off. If in an area without cell service, a phone must, 1, have location services disabled, or 2, be powered off. You'll notice the only difference is that in the previous one, if you have service, then you have to do airplane mode and location services, right? If you don't have service, then it would be locations. So in other words, there's a slight difference between the two. Why? Okay. Okay, so next one. Question, how can we tell which it was? Answer, full file extraction, aka Cellebrite. Woo! Okay, if a phone is anything other than powered off, it will still show background processes. For example, if out of service, it will show the phone constantly trying to ping a tower. While this would result in no cell tower pings on the network, the attempts to connect are logged in the phone itself. The same is true of location data, Wi-Fi, etc. If the phone is on, it is constantly trying to connect, which we read. Remember, we saw that in one of the other slides. So what if the phone is on, but location services are disabled and airplane mode is toggled on? The full file extraction will show internal processes that run in the background. Essentially, the phone extraction will show that the phone is still alive, doing phone things, living its best phone life. If the phone is off, there is no data. It's as if the phone has suddenly died. Like there will just be nothing, right? Once the phone is powered on, it starts logging events again, as if sprung back to life. Yay! So, I mean, what you can glean from this, right, is that the way that they will be able to figure out the deal with the phone, right, is, as I've mentioned, the Cellebrite report. But the key thing is like, if a phone is powered off, let's say a phone is powered off for 3 hours, okay, there will be just a gap of like literally nothing. So even if you're out of service, even if you're not using your phone, if the phone is on and it's just sitting there, like probably all of our phones are right now, the phone is logging events, background processes, and solver stuff that's like a computer, right? I feel like you guys, we probably all are familiar with like computers are doing stuff, right? Without our knowledge, they're just doing things. It's the same with the phone, but honestly, I think it's even more frequent with the phone. And so there's background processes. You guys have heard SQLite. You guys have heard Knowledge C. It's all, it's shit that's stored in there in those databases that are all the background processes, right? And so again, that's even if you never mind location or airplane mode, the background processes happen if the phone is on. So if you see a big gap, right, it's like everything stops and then it starts again. Then you can glean from that with the Cellebrite report that that amount of time, however big that gap is, that's how long the phone was powered off. Because if the phone was on, then there would be things happening. Okay. Brought to you by
It's a house.
So did you guys find that at all helpful? Because like, I know for me, like when I heard Andrea say that stuff the other day, I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to like remember all the different, things that cancel each other out. Like, because there's so many, like, okay, all the different circumstances. So like I tried to break it down in a way that it's like simplifies it, right? And then also to answer some of the questions she had about like the deal with the emergency services and the geofencing and all that. But hopefully you guys found that helpful. Don't ever apologize. You didn't take me off track. No. Silly. So Denise, what do you make of that that recent filing about the 403B? Because we covered that earlier before you got here. Okay, so now we're going to go back to, for anyone who missed it, I had color coded this entire fucking thing earlier and Adobe didn't save my changes. So I'm still salty about that. Okay. Okay, so we have again the DOJ interim policy. All right, and then we have some case law here. So Arizona v. Mitchum. Oh, yeah, that is. Bloop, 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 bloop. And we can read the opinion, but we can also see the entire thing here. So here's the opinion summary. So in 2015, Ian Mitchum was arrested for a DUI in Scottsdale, Arizona. He consented to a blood test to determine alcohol concentration or drug content. And I should have bet. Let me do better. Hold on. I'm doing better. Wait, hold on. Doing better. What are we talking about? This is a defense exhibit. I should have said. This case law is a defense exhibit from their reply to the state's objection to the motion to suppress. And actually, we should take a look at that so we can see how they reference it here. Where is that? I think that's fucking under seal. Oh, stupidness. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Never mind. Okay. We can't see that one. Okay. So defense exhibit from the reply to state's objection to the motion to suppress genetic information. Okay. So back to this. So, all right. He consented to a blood test to determine alcohol concentration or drug content, and 2 vials of blood were drawn. Mitchum was informed that the second vial would be destroyed. And I think this was referenced also in the hearing, but it was not destroyed. Mitchum was interesting. Mitchum was later convicted of a misdemeanor DUI. So they said they were going to destroy the blood, and they didn't. In February 2015, Allison Feldman was found murdered, and the DNA evidence was collected from the crime scene. Interesting. In 2017, a familial DNA search linked Mitchum's brother to the crime scene DNA. Well, isn't that interesting, guys? Do you guys see why I say it's interesting? Holy fucking shit. I swear to God, y'all, what was my thoughts on this all along, right? Interesting that this is what they cited. Linked his brother. Wow. Leading the police to Mitchum without a warrant, police used the second vial of blood to create a DNA profile which matched the crime scene DNA. The Maricopa County Superior Court suppressed the DNA evidence obtained from the second vial. So do you guys remember in the hearing when she said, no, she said, we're not challenging the STR. She said, we're challenging the subsequent searches that also needed warrants. She was basing it on this case law, right? That in order to then, there was the first search for the SNP, and then there was the second one for the SNP where it got doubled or whatever that they just learned about. So that's like 2 additional searches. That's based, this is why she said that, right? Because the DNA evidence obtained from the second vial and subsequent buccal, I know people say it different ways. I'm going to say buccal swabs collected under a search warrant ruling that the warrantless search violated the Fourth Amendment and no exceptions to the exclusionary rule applied. The court of, now I remember Judge Hippler saying, now I remember him saying, oh, it was reversed or whatever. Right. The Court of Appeals reversed. Fuck. With the majority finding that the inevitable discovery and independent source exceptions applied, while a concurring judge found no. I remember this. He said to Anne, you're citing the unpopular opinion from a case that was reversed, something along those lines. The Arizona Supreme Court reviewed the case and held that the police violated Mitchum's Fourth Amendment rights by conducting a warrantless search of the second vial of blood. However, the court found that the inevitable discovery exception to the exclusionary rule applied. The court reasoned that Mitchum's DNA profile would have been inevitably been discovered through lawful means due to his subsequent felony convictions, which required DNA profiling under Arizona law. So that's a distinction, right? Because with BK, right, there's no other felony convictions. So that is a distinction. I'm sure that was discussed. Therefore, the trial court erred in suppressing the DNA evidence. The Arizona Supreme Court reversed the trial court suppression order and remanded the case for further proceedings. So we can go through the whole summary if you guys want. I don't know if you want. Yeah, the traffic stop. What do you think about that, Denise? With the with the citation, right? And then the fact that the citation, another thing I thought was noteworthy is they mentioned the citation was brought up with shit related to the grand jury. That was sealed, so we couldn't look at it. So, but you guys let me know if you want to look through this case law or if you want to watch the traffic stop. But in the meantime, right. Well, and the other thing is that, what I mentioned, and you were here, I mentioned that why would it not just be done through like an interrogatory, Like in my mind, there's other ways to do this that would be normal. And that the citation, like of all the things, right? Like, I just don't see how that is. Like, wouldn't an interrogatory be sufficient, right? Or like driver's license? I don't know. Oh, I thought they could have interrogatories as well for criminal. I mean, how many are there? Like, there's the one that we all saw a long time ago. That's the one I know of. Okay, thank you for that. I'm mistaken then. I thought it was in both. Okay. Well, still though, you would think that maybe the license, or I already explained what an interrogatory is, but I'll explain it again for those of you guys who are curious. So the interrogatory, so I was mistaken. I make sure I correct that on the record, that they're only used in civil. I thought they were used in civil and criminal, but it's basically just like a questionnaire where it's just like, so-and-so, you agree that this is your name, this is your address, this is your phone number. Basically it's just like basic facts, right? Like not related to anything. It's like, let's just all agree on this basic info so that we don't have to fight over it or whatever, so that we can move forward in the proceedings, basically. That's funny. I mean, the point though is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a way to minimize, it's supposed to be a way to get everybody to agree on at least some things, so then they can move forward. It doesn't surprise me though that people end up fighting anyway. It's like there's nothing they're gonna fight no matter what. It's fucking funny. But it's supposed to be, in other words, it is considered to be the most what's the right way to say it? The least involved, if you will, and the most cost effective form of discovery, right? In other words, if you can obtain things through an interrogatory, then you don't have to have a deposition. I mean, you'll probably still have to have a deposition, but the more you can get with an interrogatory, then it saves time, it saves money. That's sort of the other thing, right? Denise weighing in on civil law. That's funny. I do love watching train wreck depositions, though. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, so we know the DOJ, and this one I couldn't find. I actually have here, in case you guys are wondering, I actually have here this tab, investigative genetic genealogy cases, and oddly, oh wait, there it is. Just kidding. There it is. Never mind. Okay, here we go. I thought it wasn't on the list. All right, let's just see what this is. So this would be what the state relied upon in their objection to the defendant's motion to suppress IGG. Colorado v. Phillips. Order denying motion to suppress familial DNA search and fruit thereof. Some fruit of the poisonous tree. Well, in Florida, in criminal law in Florida, depositions are a way of fucking life. Depositions left and right, all depositions all day long, every day. Every witness is deposed. It's completely, it's an anomaly, right, for Florida. I think there's some other states that do have it, but in Florida, it's just goes without saying. It's par for the course. In fact, in the Casey Anthony trial, it was just a thing that came up where the prosecution was in hot water for not deposing a witness that they should have for, deposing a defense witness. Anyway, they do all the depositions all day long, all day. But in North Carolina, it's not allowed. Okay, so the court finds as follows. The motion seeks to suppress the results of a familial DNA search of a relative of the defendant. That evidence led to the identification of defendant as a suspect in the murder of Barbara Jo Oberholzer. Yeah. A tissue and a glove were found. In 2020, law enforcement enlisted the help of an IGG. And check it out here, right? An investigative genetic genealogist, right? Like what we saw in the hearing, the FBI doesn't do it, as I've said a million times. That coordinates investigations of unsolved cases. A relative of the defendant's, probably a second cousin, had his or her DNA tested and submitted the test results to GEDmatch. One thought that I had, guys, and Denise, I'm curious your thoughts on this. I had this thought the other day. Well, I don't know, a couple days ago. That because Denise, you made a good point in one of the live streams about how whoever the tip was, right? The state has that and the defense has that. However, it is still so interesting the way it was tiptoed around, or not tiptoed around, actually quite the opposite. Questioning so many times about what if it was the defendant, what if it was himself, blah, blah. And it was really interesting that the only thing was they're like, he's not asserting that, but it was not like there was no denial. You know, and I was talking about this the other day of how, like, you know, with these, okay, so my brother, I know someone, it's like a friend of my brother's, who their family was going to do these, and they get like a family deal. And literally they had like a ton of these tests because they get like a family discount price so that everyone in the family can do it, and they had like extras. And I thought to myself, because again, when you look at the timeline of how quickly, right, they got a result, and yet the tip is turned over, and obviously the tip isn't Bryan Kohberger, but there's no way it's not an immediate family member. And again, the other thing that's interesting, going back to this, this case law relied upon from the defense, right here, familial DNA search linked to Mitchum's brother. So I thought to myself, what if BK potentially and all of his family members, or just one of them, BK and his sister, BK and whatever, they did the thing. And so I'm just thinking it through, because here's the thing. If that were the case, then BK would have been a direct match to himself. But then you could see how they would try to weasel around that, right? Because remember, we heard from Gabriel Vargas, right? How there's like the back door where you can see all the other person's top matches or whatever. It's like they could then, I could see how then they go and they find that top match. And if it was a sister or a parent, whatever, right? And then that could be the name they turn over. So in other words, it's like getting to BK first and then trying to hide that because there was also another close family member. And again, I say close because the timeline, there was no tree built. There was no time for a tree to be built. FBI doesn't build the trees. It's just not, the only way this works out, and we've covered this extensively with the timeline, the only way it works out with the timeline is like, got a name. And my thought initially was, I was like, it's either BK or it's an immediate family member. But the new thing that I've been thinking is, what if it was both? And that could explain a lot. So I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts? I mean, I don't know how they would know. I don't put any stock in that. No offense to them. Okay, so the court is not persuaded. This is basically the one saying that, like, you can't keep it private. Remember they talked about, okay, we're not gonna, whatever. I'm far more interested in the defense filings. Okay, so in terms of the case law. So okay, so next we have, so these are AT&T. So the return of warrants, so nothing too fancy there. Oh, I meant to do this. I'm so glad I remembered. Twiz, thank you. The geofencing. Let me take a look. It just reminded me of that to see if there was more than one, because that was something that was brought up. Let me see here. Just a little bit of a scrolling all the day, just singing a stupid song as I scroll through these documents to find the right one. Okay, Mallory. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay. So this is the one, remember in the presentation we just watched where I had the page where it was highlighted? That was from this. So this is from 3 to 5 a.m., right? And there's the 0.5 miles, right? So there you go. So that's this one. Now, this is the other AT&T from the same day. So let's just see. I think this is, though, the phone. Yeah, this is the phone. So this is for the specific phone number. So again, from everything, I know it's on here somewhere. It's going to say Bryan Kohberger's phone with a capital P. Yeah, so this is the 48-hour warrant. I guess they redacted it on this one and not the other one. Interesting. Unless I just missed it. Yeah, because like on the longer one, then description of properties, Kohberger's phone with a capital P, because I laugh at it every time. This is Mallory. Yeah, so like the difference that you have though is the part that's relevant to that is like this is the thing here with the geofencing where it has the distance. Yeah, GPS coordinates like that. So I mean, and again, anyone, y'all let me know if there's something I'm missing. But yeah, to my everything my understanding is there's just the one of the geofence, just the one of the geofence, and so it's just the half a mile radius. Yeah, because like if I go back to this one, see the difference here is like instead of being like all phones from half a mile, it's like literally it's asking specifically for the subscriber information and shit, right? For the specific phone. So yeah. Right. Correct, Denise. And I already addressed that earlier. It was probably before you got here. Right. Because in this cell phone video thing we watched, Andrea Burkhardt was talking about the geofence, and that's what got me looking into it, right? Because it's the way that she describes it and the way that I would have thought, right? It seems like the geofence was like all of Moscow, or maybe Moscow and Pullman, right? Which at least covers a greater area so that like, you know, if he wasn't in the area, but like he would have been at some point, right? Leaving and coming, whatever. But basically this was way narrower than until I looked it up, right? It's only half a mile radius to the crime scene. So like if you're not literally right out, like right at the house, basically, I mean, it's just like a half a mile. It's just like a couple streets, right? In every direction. And again, I'm working on a map project that will show this, but it's just not the easiest to do. And I don't have like high tech, shit for that. So I think I'm going to end up, I think I've got a new plan that will make it better for me doing this. But anyway, I'm working on it. Right. So either he wasn't in the area of the geofence, right? Or again, as we've covered, he could have had the phone on airplane mode with location services turned off and or also just powered off, right? Yeah, I think she was assuming that the geofence was a much larger range that would have covered where he was, even if you go with the other ideas of like turning away. I think that's that was my take on it, which is why I looked into it, right? Is Heather lurking? Shout out to Heather. Okay, so then pen trap and trace. Okay, so exhibit C, AT&T form with warrant. Affidavit for search warrant. And it sucks that we can't see all these other affidavits, right? We just get that one, the one bullshit one. Search warrant and order for pen registered and or a trap and trace device. The number of typos in this is astonishing. So a test warrant, really? Okay. So arrest warrants, police reports. Did anybody that's just now getting here know who, I'll come right back to this page, but I was looking this up earlier and I couldn't find anything. Does anybody know who, where is it? Gammett or Mooney are? It's highlighted here. Gammett or Mooney. Does anybody know? Because that has something to do with contacting the FBI for the genealogy. So I did research, couldn't find anything. Okay, so yeah, here we are. So police report, search warrant, letter to Detective Payne from Pennsylvania State Police Sergeant Michael Lang. It's funny. I feel like there's police officers with the last name Lang in like a lot of cases. Do you guys recognize that? I recognize that. I mean, I'm sure it's a different person, but it's just funny. Data, search warrant dated 1/5. So this would mean right here, guys, that they took another buccal swab here. 1/5. Search warrant dated 1/5. That's the buccal swab. Well, I don't know. No, it's just that wasn't there a sergeant, wasn't there an, I don't know if it was a sergeant, but wasn't there an Officer Lang and Karen Reed? I feel like there's been another trial with an Officer Lang. But they don't ever give FBI names. If you're talking about Mooney and whatever the other one was, it looks like they communicated with the FBI about it, which is why it's interesting. It's like, so I figured they maybe were law enforcement. So if anyone wants to look into those two names that I just, again, Mooney and whatever it was, Gamette and Mooney. Okay, so redacted search warrant, amended statement by Don Daniels. Affidavit for search warrant, and then all these Apple preservation letters. Look at this. Chain is spelled wrong. Like, how do you even misspell that? Chain? Wow. Wow, that's a feat right there, guys, to misspell that. I mean, really. Jesus Christ. Backwards parentheses. Receipt for iPad Pro. I know a lot of people were trying to remember what year the iPad was from, and I think some people had thought it was 2016. Anyway, here it says 2018. So, I mean, this is easier than having to go back through and try to listen for it in the hearing. Here it says 2018. So, thumb drive containing information from Apple. Is that the same thing as the 2 terabyte one? I guess so. Amazon. Interesting. I wonder. So the motion to suppress. See, part of the problem is this. There's all these memos in support of, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, the motion to suppress Amazon. We can read that, right? What I'm learning going through this is that, like, we didn't know this, but because they weren't on the thing, but like there's memos to support, like it looks like every single motion to suppress. And that's where all the good shit is, I would imagine. So like, in other words, it's so annoying, right? Because I was going to say, let's go look up and see what they were talking about with this in the pleading. But the problem is, like, every single document has a secondary, if you will, like a real version of the document, pretty much, right? And essentially that's sealed. And then the part that we can see tends to be a lot of, anyway. Right. I did notice that. And I mentioned that for anyone who was here. That was the closest I could find. Tim Mooney. Right. Yep. I thought the same thing, Meg, and I pointed that out, but then I was like, I don't know if that's the same Mooney though, but it is interesting. Oh, well done on that, Meg. Okay. There we go. Okay. That's got it. Thank you. That's got to be who that is. Well done. Yeah. For some reason, how did you find, whenever I was looking it up, I kept getting this, search result for like a lawsuit. A Gamette sued the Idaho Department of Corrections, and that's what it kept directing me to. And then it directed me to like an obituary from 2023. It did not give me that result. So that's awesome. Thank you. Okay. That makes sense. So the Idaho, so putting this into context then, guys, thank you, Meg. You're awesome. Putting this into context. So, okay. So email between Gammett and Mooney. So now we know they're from the Idaho State Police. Contact for FBI genealogy. I still can't get over, where is it? Here, letter from Latah County prosecuting attorney dated 6/24/24 to Othram regarding databases searched. Okay, so then right, I was complaining about how all the fucking pleadings have an attached memo that we can't see, and it's so fucking annoying. And then here's the freaking cell phone USB file. What the fuck is going on? How can they not? Well, you guys have heard me rant about that enough. With the cell phone, okay, Apple, Amazon, yeah, we already did all those. And then, yeah, that's the thing, right? All the memorandums. Like, I think on the docket, the only memorandum that's listed is like, there's like one listed, but there's a memorandum for each of these apparently. And that's the end of it right there, guys. Oh, was he there, Denise? Oh, okay. Yeah, right. That's the hearing that you were there. Okay, okay. Thank you, Denise. Was Denise, for anyone who wasn't aware, Denise was there, squirrel boots on the ground, flew from California to go to that hearing on the January 23rd. And then, of course, they didn't let the public in. So she ended up spending the whole day hanging out with the Gonsalveses. But she got to see all the witnesses. And so she's letting us know her perspective on that. He was really upbeat. Interesting. Okay. Yep. I don't think they do the IGG. Well, you know, if by IGG you mean just simply obtaining a SNP, a SNP profile, right? From the regular STR, but obtaining a SNP, right? It's entirely possible that the ISP is not able to do that. And so that's why they would have to send it off. But further than that, right, in terms of actual IGG, which is really the family tree build out, y'all know how I feel about that. I don't think that was done at all. I think that's completely impossible to have been done. So like I always call it the IGG, not IGG. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's a good question. I mean, they have that freaking grant with Othram, so maybe they're just like, well, make use of this money. I don't know. I mean, having said that, it's entirely possible that Othram can do maybe they can turn it around faster, you know, for the S&P. I don't know. Oh, where did you get those? That'd be awesome. If you want to share those, we can take a look. By the way, guys, y'all, and I haven't checked the Discord in a long time because I've been teaching, but I posted in the Discord. You guys have heard me talk about the master list. Right. Yeah. You guys have heard me talk about the master list. So the master list is because I know I'm not the only one who like we're talking about stuff or we're going through stuff and it's like, wait, what time was the car seen at what place? Or wait, where was the phone supposed to be pinging at blah, blah, you know, and it's like, and then literally how many times have we done this, right? Okay, let's go back through the hearing and find it in the hearing. And then it's like, but then there's so many times and dates. It's easy. Anyway, so my goal, I was like, I need a list, like a master list. I think it was Heather's idea to call it that. It was perfect. A master list that has it says vehicle, right? Elantra, whatever. And it's like the times that the vehicle was, according to the state, right, seen on camera and the locations of said place, right? Because we can go and check and see if there's cameras there, right? Which we've done a little bit of. We're going to do more of. I've got things planned. Okay. And then separately, the phone. Same idea, right? What time was the phone doing something and where was it doing it? and then color coding it. So I've got it color coded so far. Purple means information that was, or I guess like discrepancies, but we learned different information, discrepancies in the time at the hearing, right? And then anything in black is from the PCA. And in what's from the PCA, I'm not correcting anything. In other words, if something is discovered to be wrong or whatever, I'm putting all of that in there because that's just as important to me, right? In order to disprove something, you have to know that it's wrong. So like, it's literally just going through. So what I've been doing is, I went through the PCA, but like, I'm also going through other documents and, hearings, but there's a lot. But my goal is to get every single time, every piece of information where there is a time mentioned and a location mentioned as it pertains to the car and the phone. And then it's going to be a working copy, right? And again, it'll be color coded for anything that comes from other hearings or other documents. They'll all have their own color. And then as I keep updating it, I'll just keep posting it in the Discord so that anybody can use it if they want, or just see it or whatever, right? But it's just, my thought is it would be so much easier than having to go back through the entire docket and try to find the plea. Like, it's like literally a needle in a haystack times a million, right? Or same thing with the hearings, right? When it's like, oh, they mentioned this one thing, blah, blah. And sometimes we can find those pretty quickly, right? Certain things, but sometimes it all blurs together. And also in terms of the pleadings, there's so many of them. It's like, good luck. So the thought here is, if you guys want to contribute, if you guys want to share, and then I can update it, and then it's something that everybody can use. That's sort of the plan with that. I said IGG, not IGG, because I don't think there was, I don't think IGG is family tree. I don't think a family tree was done. I'm extracting it into an S&P profile. That's not the IGG part. The IGG is the family tree. Okay, thank you. See, now it's funny. I'm sure I've done that Google search, but you must have had more success than I did. So that's awesome. If you want to put it in the Discord, though, that would be great. Yeah, LiGG, honestly, though, that is brilliant. Yeah, I said IGG, not IGG, but LiGG, honestly, is brilliant. So Just Beth, kudos to you for that one. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. Awesome. And also welcome back. So yeah, so I'm, the docket, let me just take another look, because things just be popping up like good old Ashley Jennings as a groundhog. Don't you know? Also, for anyone else who's just now joining us, we have a request out for the Scroll Crew. Anybody who has access to HBO, like, to watch shit and wants to participate. We were talking about watching some Curb Your Enthusiasm through Discord. That would be high. I don't have HBO. So if anybody does and you love that show and you want to help us out so we can watch it together and have a fun time, let me know. That would be awesome too. And I may have some good news. Well, there's always good news in life, right? Hopefully. But I might have some news that you guys would care about. Some big news here soon, but I can't say yet. But I just was thinking about there could be something exciting happening here in the future that you guys will hear about as well. So yeah, so nothing else except 404B. I was like, 404B, what? So yeah, so I think that's all for this. Yeah, my plan, I really wanted to go through and put it into the context with the documents, but the problem is, again, all of it is these freaking memorandums. And it's like, because they didn't even reference the exhibits in the parts that we could see, which is just lame, right? Freudian slip. Wait, what was the Freudian slip? You're very welcome. You know, I feel like when I was going through making my master list, I feel like I saw that actually referenced in something. I can't fucking remember what. Because I remember being like, oh, like there it is. Like I'm pretty sure that it was referenced. Let me see. Trying to remember where. I'm pretty sure though. Let's see here. Oh, there was something else interesting too. Hold on. Where was it? Here it is. Check it out. It's in the PCA, dude. Hey. I wasn't crazy after all. I mean, I am crazy, but not like, okay, can you see this? Like, check it out. So this is where I saw it, right? Scrolling at the master list, right? Right here. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via US Highway 195. So, oh, that's funny. So yeah, so I don't know. Is this, you know, there it is here. Clarkston, Kate's Cup of Joe. This is the best map of the maps in the PCA. I mean, that's like, you guys just, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, I did work on enhancing these and I'm working on a project with that. But I did enhance these to some extent and then overlay them over Google so that you can try to figure out what the fuck is supposed to be on here. But, you know, fuck if they didn't do that on purpose, because how do you even make a map? Like, you gotta be kidding me. And like the worst one, I think, is probably the first one. That rhymed. Where is it? Is it a joke? Depiction showing Moscow and Pullman. Huh? Come again? That's what she said? I mean, what the fuck? Like, and then I've made fun of this on a different live stream. I don't know if you guys saw it, but like literally the arrows, right? You guys, the yellow quote unquote arrow, and I say quote unquote because it says here arrows. The yellow arrow is supposed to show the path of travel leaving WSU, and then the red. I mean, what? But here's why that's especially annoying, okay? Because if you go to this atrocity, which is, again, much better, obviously, now you, like, this is, look at the arrows. They're capable. Like, their program, their shitty program, or whatever the fuck, has actual arrows that are somewhat visible, that actually point in a direction. Those exist. Notably, they didn't label it. They didn't say anything about arrows. However, when you go back to this monstrosity, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, what do they think people, like, huh? It's like I'm being punked, right? What? Yeah. Anyway. Yep. Right. I mean, they don't know. Well, that's why I said it seems like at least what they're agreeing on so far, the state and the defense, it seems like they're agreeing on where the phone was when it reported back to the network and then the path it took, right? It seems like the dispute is how it got there, or where, you know what I mean? You know, what was happening before it got there? But it seems like they're kind of on the same page with the route back. Like they're kind of agreeing on that, right? Yeah, I mean, there's no way that this is not intentional. As you guys have seen, the maps that I've made, and same with Twiz and anybody else, like literally any person can do better than this. Like, this is just like, I mean, and in some of the PCAs, as you guys, I'm sure have seen, they're in black and white. It's even worse. Like, this is the best case scenario with this. I mean, gotta be fucking kidding me. But having said that, one thing that's just to that end about the route, right? I mean, this route, and again, I have it with an actual map, and essentially it's not exactly right. Like, this bulgy thing down here on the bottom right is not exactly where it should be with the actual Google map. But I think in terms of, the path of travel, right, it's trying to say, now what it's missing, so the part in blue, guys probably can't see that because it's so shitty, but there's that blue line was there up at the top. That's that thing that I've referenced before where it's like, what the fuck is that business? So, and Ann Taylor mentions that in the hearing. Again, I'm going to have a presentation with the maps where I'm going to try to make this make sense. And by that, I mean, even what they are saying that doesn't make sense, like, just explain it. And because we have not been given maps that we can use, right? So, like, somebody has to do it, right? And so I'm like, in terms of mapping what the state is saying and what the defense is saying and all the different options, and then also mapping it out with where the cell towers are and all that, right? Anyway, so there's this business in blue that you can't really see, but it's between this is useless because you can't see it, guys, probably. But anyway, but in terms of the yellow line, right? Like, that's the, the part that I think they're all agreeing on is down at the bottom part, the like pointy part at the bottom right area is like, that's generally, right, from what I can remember. I don't have my maps pulled up, but it's just a matter of like which way, how to get there, right? That's a good question. I honestly don't know much about hotspots. Now, another thing to think about is VPNs. So, oh, I totally noticed possible. I totally noticed that. Having said that, though, that's not really uncommon. Well, I'm not saying that this entire PCA isn't just the worst, right? But that's not entirely uncommon for a PCA because, honestly, the actual 100% for sure route, that's really in the province of the jury, right? That's for them to decide. That's why we're here, right? So possible route isn't really, but having said that, considering who we're dealing with, yeah, it's like babies trying to do it. But yeah, that's a good question about the hotspot. Let's take a look at that. A toaster strudel. I don't know that much. Oh, I know what I was saying though. VPNs is another thing that can affect tracking. However, it's like it would track you, but it would track you elsewhere, right? And that's really what criminals should be doing. If somebody is like going to well, again, I guess really just off, but like if you're wanting to like really build yourself a different alibi and do a VPN in like a different country or whatever, I don't know. And that way they like think you're hanging out in Amsterdam. Like that might be the way to go. Okay, what am I looking up? Hotspot. Cellebrite. So by hotspot, you mean, Meg, you mean like, like for Wi-Fi, right? Because that's not even like, oh my God. Well, there's this, but see, it's not really talking about the hotspot, but it's like a new feature. Interesting. Huh. Okay, if you were working on a malware investigation to find spikes in the network activity in the graph view. And there's a little video. Should we take a look? Oh, woo! Yeah, squirrels, yeah.
Hi everyone, Heather Mahalik here with another Tip Tuesday. This week I want to talk about a new feature that
Oh my God. Should we just watch? There's like, by the way, there's like a billion of these on this website. We could just do a whole thing where we watch all the Cellebrite shit.
It was released with
You don't
Cellebrite
have to.
Physical Analyzer 7.51, and it's the network usage. If you go under Analyze Data, and then you look at the network usage, you're going to see that there's a new flag, and you can select Learn More. Anytime you see a new flag, I recommend you actually read what it says.
Definitely.
What we're telling you is under network usages, you can
Guys, in general in life, whenever there's a thing that says Learn More, I would always suggest clicking it. Just saying.
now view the sending and receiving of information across Wi-Fi and cellular. So I'm going to select network usages.
Oh, Denise weighing in on what I was saying. Okay, so Denise, you're weighing in on what I was suggesting earlier, I suppose, about how potentially it could have been BK and an immediate relative. Right, that's what I thought, right? Because that's what was very clear. It was very, very, very clear in that trial that if it had been a direct hit, we'd be in a completely different position. So that was why I thought, well, what if it was both? What if it was a direct hit to him? And then luckily he also had an immediate relative who also did it, and then they could submit that as the tip, right? That would explain so much. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that would mess up the Cellebrite. I think more so VP, well, not that it would mess it up. I think the VPN would maybe throw more of a monkey wrench into the whole thing. Oh, okay. You're good. Denise saying she was repeating. Okay. Gotcha. Look at all those numbers.
And I'm going to go in and look at these network stats.
Well,
as I always state, there's a few things you can do. You can filter. So if you want to filter on the Wi-Fi, if you want to filter on the SSID, which is going to be an IMSI here associated to a SIM card, you can do that. What you can also do is on the right-hand side, as you're scrolling down, if you find an area of interest, you can look on the right-hand side and see what actually occurred. So over here, we can see on September 13th, between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. UTC.
Interesting. So there's the source file. I'm just looking at that. That's a Samsung Galaxy. So an Android, right? Roaming false. Interesting.
The user was on a cellular network.
Okay.
And how many bytes were received and sent. We can also see the source files on where this information is being pulled from. So here we can see netstats and packages.xml. As always, we recommend you go and you take a look and follow the source for further verification. Additional information is shown here on which apps were actually in use.
Interesting.
And then again, you can do.
You know, this is like, this is so relevant to what we were just talking about in that presentation, right? Like, look at all that shit. This is what I'm talking about, right? That shows up on the report.
This the same thing with Wi-Fi. The final thing I want to point out is if you find that you're looking at the graph, and maybe you're looking for spikes of network activity. If you're working a malware investigation or just something where excessive communications occurred, up top here, this is a great place to identify that. And then you can filter and narrow in on your search to make your investigations even easier.
Wow. Oh my God. Just the tip, guys. That's funny. Yeah, so interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. Twiz, were you referencing something else, or were you referencing? I don't know. I don't use a VPN. But that's what my understanding was. A VPN will show you somewhere else that you're not, like what Meg was saying, right? Like that. She's not in Chicago, as we know. But isn't the point of VPNs though that it gives it reconfigures or makes you have a different IP? Isn't that the point? So anywho, tomorrow we have another Karen Reed hearing. So I may cover that live as it's happening. You guys know me, though. I'm kind of like, always checking to see if there's anything else on the docket for Idaho, and that would be probably a priority. But we'll see. I might cover it live. Otherwise, I'll cover it tomorrow night. And we don't really know what's going to happen. Like, it's really kind of unclear what motions they're going to be going over. all of the stuff in terms of like the motion to dismiss and everything, that's not happening yet. That's happening like the following week and then the week after, I think. So Judge Bev wanted it to happen tomorrow, and they're like, there's no way we're going to be ready. So I'm not quite sure. I think that my guess is they're going to be talking mostly like discovery and stuff. So I really don't know. But yeah, anyway, again, if nothing's coming out in Idaho, then we might do that live while it's happening. And then also, oh, thank you. I just noticed this. Thank you. Tonka just posted in the Discord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let me take a look. Thank you for that. Y'all are the best. Oh, I see. Okay, this is. So does this have the thing with the Othram grant in it? Tanks, I guess, as I was trying to call you earlier. Okay, so basically VPNs are middlemen. Oh, like Katie McBanowa. Okay, that makes sense. You know what? Now that you mention it, I feel like I remember reading something that it said it depended like the type of quality VPN you had. And that might be what you're saying. That if you get like I don't know if it's a more expensive one or what, but that would make a difference. Okay, so I think I answered your question before I saw this. And again, remember, Judge Hippler said to them that they needed to think about dates within the next 3 weeks that they would be available. And the 3-week mark is up on Friday, guys. So that's my mind immediately has been tracking that as in like, we should see, I would imagine something, a decision, right? If he wanted them dates to have dates within 3 weeks, right? I mean, 3 weeks is running out. So, okay. Well, the decision was that like they're not going to have the Daubert hearing. That was the other thing too, right? If they were going to have the Daubert hearing, that would have been one of the things they were doing tomorrow, but they're not having the Daubert hearing. So like, again, just my understanding is like that they didn't really explicitly say what they're doing tomorrow. Like they got kind of sidetracked with this when they were doing the scheduling by going further out. So like they put the motion to dismiss for like next week and the week after. And then like motions in limine, I believe also was like next week or the week after. And then, you know, they went up all the way through until March something, but they didn't like when, as far as it pertains for tomorrow, initially they were like, oh, well, we might need the whole day if we're doing a Daubert hearing, but we're not doing a Daubert hearing. And then she was asking them, she was like, if we don't do a Daubert hearing, what else can we hear? And then she was like, maybe we can do the motion to dismiss. And then they were like, there's no way we're going to be ready. So it's like, that's why I'm like, it's unclear what they're going to be doing tomorrow. But I mean, there is other shit with the discovery, right? Because Brennan was being kind of weaselly about that. So I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see what they end up doing tomorrow. I mean, my thought is this, that you never know with the Commonwealth, right? Because Hank was like saying they had turned everything over, and then Jackson was like, no. So there's some shenanigans. And so like, in other words, who knows? Like it could be that there's some issue. You know, there was talk of like a neurologist and some other things. The other thing that they're going to be taking up, I think next week too, guys, is all the thing about the expert related expenses. So yeah. So I don't know what they're going to be doing tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, Alessi Slade. I'm sure you guys have all seen Alessi freaking Slade. But yeah, all that to say that it wouldn't surprise me if there's some new issue. That's what I was going to say. Some new issue that comes up. You know, in other words, like they weren't clear about what they had planned for tomorrow because everything they talked about doing tomorrow, they're not doing, right? but you guys know that there's no reason, like if they don't need to be getting together, they're not going to be doing it. So they're going to be doing something, right? So that's why I'm wondering, like, if there's some other thing that pops up that they, and then they, with the discovery maybe. So I'm just taking a look here. Tonka, it's asking me to subscribe to the, oh wait, no, I can click out of that. Just kidding. Okay. Subscribe to the Idaho State Police. No, thank you. You're saying, hold on. Are you saying the YouTube video is on this website that you sent me? Oh, there's Mr. Gamette. Okay. Right on. Gamette, whatever. Gamette. Oh, there's the lab managers. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So this has all of the things that they can do. What I'm not seeing on here, I'm looking at this website. What I'm not seeing on here is anything about IgG or genealogy at all. I'm not even, let's see here. I'm not even seeing much about extraction. Am I just not seeing that? I mean, tool mark analysis, great. Okay, there we go. Biology screening DNA database. That's CODIS. Yeah, there's nothing about IgG though. Oh, interesting. Let's take a look at this video that Tanks sent me, as I'm now saying. Let's take a look at this. Thank you for that. Okay. Y'all are going to laugh at this title. Idaho forensic team gains national recognition for solving cold cases. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Because on the list of services, there was nothing about IgG. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right, you guys ready?
Scientists, investigators, and genealogists are solving cases once thought impossible. Their focused and precise work is now earning national recognition, with Idaho State Police Forensic Services setting a high bar for forensic science. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, or ISPFS, is on the front lines of cold case investigations.
We have DNA.
Wait, watch this. With the magnifying, look at this. Look, hold on.
Science. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, or
Is that what they really do? I don't know. That seems kind of like a TV show or a movie, but like for kids. Like that looks like one of them jumbo kids magnifying glasses.
SPFS is on the front lines of cold case investigations.
We have DNA scientists, we have investigators, genealogists, data analysts. We've gone.
I can answer that. So Meg, well, I don't know that Meg won. I know Tonka has shared their location. Okay, so South Dakota. I was going to say, but I didn't know if that was okay. And then Alaska. South Dakota and Alaska. Funny too, right? Because we were just talking about Curb Your Enthusiasm.
After the best of the best.
Oh, wait, is that the dude?
Lines of cold case investigations.
We have DNA scientists, we have investigators, genealogists, data analysts.
There he is, Mr. Gamette or Gamette. Wow. Okay.
So we've gone after the best.
Look at that tie. Hold on. I need to hear this again. But look at that tie.
FS is on the front lines of cold case investigations.
We have DNA scientists, we have investigators, genealogists, data analysts.
He said genealogists.
Analysts, we've gone after the best of the best.
The team working
That is okay. Let me just keep playing.
together to solve crimes and bring answers to families.
What I've found is they're passionate about the work.
This is very interesting because A, it's not on their website about the genealogy that I could see, but also B, this is fucking weird ass. Like, this is weird, right? Because like, if they can do all the shit, including the quote unquote lie GG, not IGG, but like all the shit in house, but they didn't do any of it in house. Like what? I mean, this is a really good question. Thank you, Tonka, for raising this and providing these resources, because it is odd, right? And like the question started with, if they can do like the extraction for an S&P themselves, why did they not do it or whatever? But like, yeah. And that's when we started talking about the grant and stuff. But why would they even need that if they can do it all themselves?
They're passionate about bringing cases to a resolution, but also about helping victims and families of victims.
ISPFS is currently ranked as one of the most efficient forensic labs in the world.
Yeah, this is not adding up, guys. What do you think? Dude, thank you for finding a huge shout out here to Tanks, as I'm now calling them. Right, they're federally funded in 2021. Yes, that's correct. Yep. I mean, and actually the video, I mean, is going to say when the video is from, but regardless, yeah.
13th globally and 12th in the US.
Our team is very well established now, and we have an excellent team. We've gone after amazing individuals, and they are doing a fantastic job.
But the work isn't easy. Some cases may come together quickly.
Interesting. The video is from 2 days ago.
Some of these cases, we have bones, and we bring it in, and it's quickly identified as we've known this person's been missing. We do the DNA comparison, and it's a very quick win for us.
While other times it can take years.
In other cases, it's not that way at all. It's a long investigation. It's not much.
And that's the other thing. You know, I pointed this out from the get-go to this point, that literally, and when we did the IgG trees, some of you guys may not have been there when we did that, but literally when we looked at the IgG trees and stuff, like literally IgG is used as a last resort in cold cases. Like, I mean, that's something I've been saying from the get-go, that the fact that it's the first thing they did doesn't make any sense at all. Literally, even when you look at the steps and the way it's supposed to go, according to all the literature that we've looked at, it's the last thing you do. And why? Oh, because usually it takes a long fucking time, among other reasons. So
information in the DNA database. And so we're having to extrapolate family trees for a really long time. Sometimes it's very complex family relationships.
The team also takes care to maintain the public's trust in how DNA and data are handled.
It's really important that the public knows that we are not using their genetic information in an inappropriate way.
Ultimately.
So this isn't okay. So the timeliness of this, I think, is what Tanks is getting at. Hopefully, is that okay if I call you? Okay, so that this was from 2 days ago. So maybe this is just propaganda. We're gonna finish watching it, and then we're gonna watch it again because this is interesting.
It's all about making Idaho safer and providing closure to those who have been waiting for answers.
We're trying to solve violent crimes, sexual assaults, homicides, assaults. Things of those nature are really important to us. But these cases also solve other cases like burglaries, robberies, other things that law enforcement investigators are looking to solve and resolve in these communities to make these communities safer. And that's the goal, make Idaho safer.
So with a focus on accuracy, innovation, and transparency, the ISP Forensic Services team is making a real impact one case at a time. I'm Andrew Vincent reporting.
All right, let's watch this again. What is happening?
Well, a team of DNA scientists, investigators, and genealogists are solving cases once thought impossible. Their focused and precise work is now earning national recognition, with Idaho State Police Forensic Services setting a high bar for forensic science. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, or ISPFS, is on the front lines of cold case investigations.
We have DNA scientists, we have investigators, genealogists, data analysts. We've gone after the best of the best.
The team working together to solve crimes and bring answers to families.
What I've found is they're passionate about the work. They're passionate about bringing cases to a resolution, but also about helping victims and families of victims.
ISP.
The other thing, you guys, I might have missed it. Did they even mention any cases? Like this whole thing, look, Idaho forensic team gains national recognition for solving cold cases. Well, I don't think they mentioned that. Like, and then Idaho forensic cracking cold cases. Like, did they say any cold cases that they cracked? I could have missed it. That's why we're watching it again. But like,
EFS is currently ranked as one of the most efficient forensic labs in the world, 13th globally and 12th in the U.S.
Our team is very well established now, and we have an excellent team. We've gone after amazing individuals, and they are doing a fantastic job.
It reminds me of, what is it? I don't know. There's just so many examples. Like, instead of, okay, hold on. Let me back it up.
Our team is
world. Their EFS is currently ranked as one of the most efficient forensic labs in the world, 13th globally and 12th in the U.S.
Wouldn't this be a great time to be like, here's some of the cases that we solved? But instead, what you get is this.
Our team is very well established now, and we have an excellent team. We've gone after amazing individuals.
Excellent, amazing.
And they are doing a fantastic job.
But the work isn't
excellent, amazing, fantastic. No specifics.
Easy. Some cases may come together quickly.
In some of these cases, we have bones, and we bring it in, and it's quickly identified as we've known this person's been missing. We do the DNA comparison, and it's a very quick win for us.
Great. This would be a perfect time for you to tell us what cold case it was, because you're gaining recognition for solving cold cases. Like, if you solved it,
While other times it can take years.
In other cases, it's not that way at all. It's a long investigation. It's not much information in the DNA database. And so we're having to extrapolate family trees for a really long time. Sometimes it's very complex family relationships.
The team also takes care to maintain the public's trust in how DNA and data are handled.
That part is probably the most ironic right there of all of it, right? It's like they're trying to tell us that's what the public thinks. Like maintaining the public's trust, not earning the public's trust, not gaining the public's trust, maintaining it. How do they have the right to say that the public already trusts them? Because I would say that's probably not the case. What do you guys think? Oof.
It's really important
right?
that
I
the
know.
public knows that
Thank
we are
you. Right? This is insane. Honestly.
not using their genetic information in an inappropriate way.
Ultimately,
the timing of this after those hearings.
It's all about making Idaho safer and providing closure to those who have been waiting for answers.
We're trying to solve violent crimes, sexual assaults, homicides, assaults, things of those nature are really important to us. But these cases also solve other cases like burglaries, robberies.
Not one case has been mentioned.
Other things that law enforcement investigators are looking to solve and resolve in these communities to make these communities safer. And that's the goal, make Idaho safer.
So with a focus on accuracy, innovation, and transparency, the ISP Forensic Services team is making a real impact one case at a time.
Right. One case at a time, and you didn't name a single one. We're going to watch this again. Dude, jackpot. Tonka hit the jackpot with this. This strikes me as odd. Like, we're gonna listen to it again. Guys, think about what all is missing. Like, as they're asking, as he's like saying, as the reporter dude is like saying something, like, what is the answer you expect? And then the information you expect to have, that would be like the normal next logical thing. This is really crazy. Like, it just doesn't, I don't even know. Okay.
Well, a team of DNA scientists, investigators, and genealogists are solving cases once thought impossible. Their focused and precise work is now earning national recognition, with Idaho State Police Forensic Services setting a high bar for forensic science. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, or ISPFS, is on the front lines.
For me, it started with the freaking magnifying glass, right? That was the first thing. I was like, oh, how funny. Like, I didn't even know what I was getting myself into with this. But that looks like one of the plastic ones you give to children so that they can go looking for bugs in the backyard.
Police Forensic Services setting a high bar for forensic science. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, or ISPFS, is on the front lines of cold case investigations.
We have DNA scientists, we have investigators.
Not to mention, hold on, look at her freaking mask, and she's talking. I can tell you for a fact, you're not supposed to talk when you're doing this shit. This just came up in the Casey Anthony trial that I'm covering as well. Look, it's not even covering, and she's got nothing over her hair. The more I scrutinize this, the more I'm gonna be like, this is all just not like, oh God.
State Police
she's got exposed skin. Dude.
Forensic Services, or ISPFS.
Here's what I can say. This part right here, this is definitely for show. At least I hope it is, because this is not how you should be doing things.
Is on the front lines of cold case investigations.
Look, she's talking and her mask is falling down. She has nothing over her hair. Dude.
DNA scientists, we have investigators, genealogists, data analysts. We've gone after the best of the best.
The team working together to
literally, he's going to just keep repeating that in different words.
Solve crimes and bring answers to families.
What I've found is they're passionate about the work. They're passionate about bringing cases to a resolution, but also about helping victims and families of victims.
ISPFS is currently ranked as one of the most efficient forensic labs in the world, 13th globally and 12th in the U.S.
Our team is very well established now.
Even with that's a large claim to make, so I would hope it's not untrue. But they didn't even cite where that came from. They just said ranked by who? Like, that's odd, right? I mean, that's not normal. That's not normal. They didn't even name an organization.
Excellent team. We've gone after amazing individuals, and they are doing a fantastic job.
But the work isn't easy.
Some individuals doing a fantastic job. Also, I just saw rap song. Dude, also, yes, please. You guys have probably all seen my, well, not a rap song, but the closest thing in terms of trial music videos with Get Low, Canton style. But that's cool if you make rap songs.
Cases may come together quickly.
In some of these cases, we have bones and we bring it in, and
in some of these cases, we have bones.
It's quickly identified as we've known this person's been missing. We do the DNA comparison, and it's a very quick win for us.
While other times it can take years.
In other cases, it's not that way at all. It's a long investigation. It's not much information in the DNA database, and so we're having to extrapolate family trees for.
You guys, is this just me? The other thing, okay, I'm just going to point out, on the website, it doesn't say anything about family trees. Thinking about the timing of this just after the hearings, and there's like no actual information, but also the fact that they're mentioning the family trees. Does it make you guys wonder? Like, does it just make you guys wonder? I don't like it at all.
Really long time. Sometimes it's very complex family relationships.
The team
had to throw that out there, right? To extrapolate family trees. It's
also takes care to maintain the public's trust in how DNA and data are handled.
It's really important that the public knows that
she's looking at fingerprints on there, right? Like, what's
they're
wrong?
Not using their genetic information.
Looking at fingerprints. This is not even the right category. Oh my God.
In an inappropriate way.
Ultimately, it's all about making Idaho safer and providing closure to those who have been waiting for answers.
We're trying to solve violent crimes, sexual assaults, homicides, assaults. The things of those nature are really important to us. But these cases also solve other cases like burglaries, robberies, other things that
are they solving any cases? Because they haven't named any. This is odd, you guys.
law enforcement investigators are looking to solve and resolve in these communities to make these communities safer. And that's the goal. Make Idaho safer.
It just feels like propaganda to me. Okay, based on a request, we are going to, right? Exactly, right? Totally. Yep. This is just not, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And like this dude with the yellow tie, he should have felt like, hey, something's up with this. There's like, this is not right, like reporting on this, but I know it's not his choice. You've been wondering for the last week. Okay. So, but by popular request, we're going to have a little listen here for Get Low Canton style in celebration of the Karen Reed hearing that's happening tomorrow. Where is it? So for anyone who's like hasn't seen this, right? So this is Get Low, as in like Little John and the East Side Boys, but I reworked it so it's like all Canton themed, and so like literally everything that you see is like an exhibit from the trial. Anyway, you'll see if you guys haven't seen already. Canton time, Jackson, United, it's time to shine. There's snow, there's snow, there's snow, there's snow. To the window, to the wall, to the wall, to the bartender's last call. At the waterfall, I sleep, sleep, motherfucker. I sleep, sleep, goddamn. I sleep, sleep, motherfucker. I sleep, sleep, goddamn. They'll crunk and act and meet. Brian simply wrestling, they have too much drink in their minds. Everything's fine, but an after party gathered about 50 damn times. To the window, to the wall, to the wall. The bartender's last call. At the waterfall. I sleep, sleep, motherfucker. I sleep, sleep, goddamn, goddamn. I sleep, sleep, motherfucker. I sleep, sleep, goddamn. Do, 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 do. So the walls, like when it said to the window of the wall, like obviously that's actually the McAlberts, and that was actually the interior of their house for the wall. And then whenever it showed the snow plows, like I'm not just like gonna like get any snow plow and put it in there. No. So I found there's like 2 local companies that are like, you know, family run that service the area with the snow plows or whatever. So that's what those are. Like all that is like legit. Anyway, you know, if you guys saw, you could see the leaf or the leaf blower thing, and you could see the solo cups. I love the part where it's like the Bryans both be wrestling when they had too much to drink. Some of it happens really fast, you know, so it's hard to like, you know, that's why I have the lyrics up there. But anywho, I'll sleep, motherfucker. Oh, that's funny. So, because in the actual original song, it's 339, but the area code in Canton is 369. I got lucked out with that one. I lucked out. Literally, I was like, oh man, I got to use their area code, but what it could be anything. When that's like, it shows it, right? Like the area codes, like, hold on, let me pull it up. Because I just got lucky with that one. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is. Do 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 do. 339 Canton time, Jackson United, it's time to shine. So basically it happens really fast, right? But there's a map there and that's all the area codes. And then it points to where there's a 339 in Canton or whatever. I guess it was 339. Was it 339 or 369? Anyway, but that's the legit area code. So, oh, I'm glad you like, yeah. Again, I was like, oh my God, because it has to be like Skeet, right? So like, oh, sleep, motherfucker. Maybe we'll watch it one more time because it's again, it happens really fast. I don't know. It's fucking funny though. Like I had so much fun making that. I've been meaning to do one for the Adelsons because there's the song about Wendi. You know, everyone knows it's Wendi. And then there was another one too. What was it? Oh, it was an idea that DB had. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Shaggy, it wasn't me. I can't remember what case that was supposed to be about though. But anyway, yeah, the trial songs, you know. But so far I have that one and then I have one for Alex Murdoch. It's not unusual. But I worked really hard on that music video to line up with the images and the music. Like you guys, yeah. Squirrely. So squirrely. Anywho. Yeah, Toes better send the rap on Discord for reals. Yeah. Here, I'll make sure that everybody join the Discord if you haven't already. Woo. Let me see.
That call is actually from Brian Higgins to you, isn't it?
Yes.
Obviously, you know how long 22 seconds is.
What's that?
You know how long 22 seconds lasts?
Yes.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I have a lot of funny ones.
You would use a solo cut.
I'm sorry, what?
Objection, Your Honor.
Solo cut.
There's Lolly. We don't ever hear from him anymore. Thank God. Maybe it was. It might have been. It might have been. Yeah. Right? For reals. Oh, do you also have a channel? I mean, sometimes I just don't know until people say, like, so you have a channel? Well, that's awesome. We'll definitely check it out. Everybody make sure you go check it out and subscribe. Do you do music or do you do like law or crime stuff or other things? That's funny. I don't know. I have to do like, hopefully this will make sense to you guys. If you know the Adelson case, Twiz made the funniest joke of a lifetime today that I'm going to be sharing for the next foreseeable future. Just FYI, about Wendi Adelson showing up at Trescott, showing up at the crime scene, right after the murder. And, I'm going to butcher. It was something like, he said, what was it you said, Twiz? It was like, you know, shouldn't she have been in Vietnam or something like that? I'll look in the Discord and see exactly, but like, oh my God, I died. I just died. Like, yeah, amazing. No, that was Brian Albert. Oh, no. That was Brian Albert. He's married to Nicole Albert. But he's, you know, there's like a potential bromance between him and Brian Higgins or whatever. The Bryans both leave wrestling when they have too much to drink. well, hold on. Let me get the full line. The full line was they all crunk and acting mean. The Bryans both leave wrestling when they have too much to drink in their mind. Everything's fine. They've been at the bar together about 50 damn times. Can't believe I remember all those words. Yeah, yeah. Have any of you guys ever had pho, like the dish? It's so good. Just saying. This would not be the first live stream that's been derailed by a conversation about pho, because people that know it are like, oh my God. So yeah, Karen Reed hearing. Let me see if there's anything else coming out about what, I mean, again, it's just weird because we don't really know what they're going to be covering. But I mean, maybe we'll get lucky and they'll talk more about the fuckery. Oh, look, recent searches. Karen Reed hearing, February 6, 2025. Thanks, computer. Oh, okay. Let's see. Here we go. Maybe. They're expecting snow. It's not helpful. Right. So like, yeah. Okay. Right. Again, this was going to be a possible evidentiary hearing for the Dauber, but that we're not doing that. So I don't know. But it's scheduled. They're having it. I don't know what that means, Twiz. Like, how is that related? Freaking love pho. Yeah. We have a really good pho place in Greensboro. I haven't had it in so long. I need to get that. Like one of those phos lasts me for like, I don't even know, multiple meat, like days of food. I freaking love you guys that didn't know, sorry. Like I've been vegan for like my whole life pretty much. And, and my favorite, like I don't feel like human if I don't have like raw vegetables. I know it's just the way it is. Like if I don't have like raw vegetables every day, like I just can't do it. I have to. If I have nothing else, I have to have raw vegetables. And so my favorite thing about pho is like the mountains and mountains of like the bean sprouts and like the they call it, the place where I used to go, they call it the pho veg. So it's like mountains of all the herbs. Like they give you like, it's like a legit mountain of herbs and like all of the other shit. What is it like? There's like the peppers and like the bean sprouts and like all this. And it's like, especially with the herbs, it's like, yes, just pile it on. It's so silly. Also love Thai. I got really into wok cooking a number of years ago. That's a whole thing. Don't recommend it. Literally, it's like raising a child tending to that wok. It's kind of insane. And honestly, if you don't have a gas stove, it's really kind of pointless. But I didn't know that until like I was balls deep in the whole thing. I still have that wok somewhere. Anyway. That's great that you guys like know like, well, maybe not each other, but like you have like familiarity with the same area. Yes, balls deep. And then Denise is in California. We have other, I forget where you're at more specifically, Denise, but we've got several California squirrels as well. So far, only one Alaska squirrel. Shout out to Tonka. Tanks, as I've been saying today. Who knows? Squirrel brain. We haven't seen Top Cat in a few days. Hopefully everything's okay. Top Cat, if you're listening, we love you. Shout out to Australia as well. Good Twiz making a silly joke there. Oh, like, wow. Squirrels? Oh, I'll have to go check that out. Okay. Newport Beach. I think you might be kind of near Candace. Shout out to Candace. We love squirrel videos. And for anyone also, too, that doesn't know, yeah, George Cat. So you guys, anyone that likes like a 24/7 wildlife feed, definitely check out Iowa. So they've been a squirrel crew member for long ass time now, since there was a squirrel crew. OGs, and this is their command, but they have a channel just called Iowa Backyard Cam, and you'll see it. There's squirrels like in the like emojis. So Iowa Backyard Cam. They do a phenomenal job. They are awesome. And they're here. You guys have, I'm sure, have seen them in the chat, but like they have like 24/7 with like a cute set, like a set and everything. And it's awesome. And so definitely check that out too. If you want like 24/7, whether it's, you know, to check in on Squeaky the squirrel, or like, you know, again, like for people with pets that like to have it, what have you. So, oh, that's interesting. Huh. Where's your grandma from? Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry, Denise. Montana. Huh. That's interesting. I doubt there's a connection there. But that is very interesting. You know, I love horses, so there's that. What is Zeppos? Zeppos? I don't know what that is. It might be just a local thing. Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. Huh. Well, that's sad. I'm glad they got out. It's interesting because the last name Whitaker, I wouldn't have associated that with like being German or even Jewish, I suppose. But anywho, oh, it looks like, did someone join the Discord? Whee! Yay, welcome. Whoever it was that just joined, if you're listening, awesome. Looks like we have a couple people. Sweet. Love it. Oh, they were, I don't know. If you guys are, whoever's joined the Discord, if you're listening, welcome, welcome, welcome. But y'all, speaking though of Wendi Adelson, let me do this real quick. Let me do this. Okay, hold on. So do you guys want to watch some Wendi Adelson testimony? Top Cat, I haven't seen Top Cat for a couple days. Oh, there was at the beginning, I think MCat was here. We have several cats. I think it was MCat who was here at the beginning. When my phone, when I was on, well, you guys thought I was on mute, but I just had gotten booted from the stage. Yeah, that was MCat. Haven't seen Top Cat in a little bit. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. Wow. That makes sense then. Huh. Well, you know what? If we want to figure out if we're distant relatives, or I guess, you know, what did you say it was? Your grandparents? You know, IgG might be the way to go. I'm just kidding, you know. That's what the IgG is for, right? Family trees. Oh my God. So, okay. Does anybody feel up? Does anybody want to watch some Wendi Adelson? Do you guys want to see her get destroyed? completely destroyed. Because I've got a stream ready to go. I was telling Twiz that I've got all these streams set up. I just made them private because I just don't know what's going to happen with these BK docs. And it's honestly just a nightmare for me when I'm like trying to like schedule stuff. And I'm like, you know, but wait, what if this other thing comes up on the docket? Because, you know, we're waiting for the stuff that was sealed to come out. And anyway, so I just made them all private. So in case anyone's wondering, I just made them all private. So that way, like, and I moved them all to like a month in the future so that I don't have to think about it. It's really silly, right? It's just squirrely because I have it all set up. So it's like I made them all private and moved them out for like a month in the future. So that way I can just like, when it's like, okay, and then I can just like move it over and make it public. But the streams are ready to go. So anyway, all that to say, oh, awesome. Glad you're here, IS. Okay, we'll do it. So I've got to just let my dog out. It shouldn't, so I don't have it set up to redirect you guys, but it should be, we'll be able to start it in like 15 minutes or so after I just take care of Frodo. So let me just make sure that I put this on public. Otherwise, it'll be completely useless because you guys won't be able to do anything. I don't know if you can see it. So, okay, public. So you guys should see it pop up. Fingers crossed. You guys should be able to see it now. Hopefully. Let me know if you guys can see it. And so, while we're getting ready for Wendi.
I'm usually a lot more fun.
She's usually a lot more fun. Sorry. Does anybody really believe that? Dude, and the joke about Vietnam was so good too. I love it so much. So let me know if you guys can see it. Because it is a little bit nerve-wracking with like the whole like making it public. I don't know. Like hopefully, I mean, it should be fine. Can you guys see it? How do I know? Yeah, I can't see if it's public or not because it's on my own channel. So you guys are going to have to tell me. I mean, it says public on StreamYard, so. Wendi song. Can't see it yet. Everyone knows it's Wendi. Yeah, I mean, for me, it just says upcoming, but that doesn't let me know if it's private or public yet. So, did I put the date wrong? No, it says 2/5. Yeah, it says live in 13.5 minutes. At least on my end, right, on YouTube. But I just, again, the thing that is tricky is I don't know if hopefully it made it public. That's the thing. Because otherwise, there's no point. Like, yeah, because y'all can't see it. Anybody seeing anything? Everyone knows it's Wendi. Guys, anybody seeing it? Oh, right. No, it would be a different stream because I have to end this stream. I don't have it set up to whatchamacall. It should say you'd have to go to like you know, upcoming or whatever, and it should say upcoming in like 13 minutes. Yeah. Because I gotta go take Frodo out real quick because he has to go outside and use the bathroom because he's a dog. Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, I will see you guys soon. And yes, it's a new live because it's Adelson's. Yeah, I see why you were confused though. You were right. That makes sense. Okay, so everybody, awesome, sweet. Hope to see you guys there. We're gonna watch Wendi get destroyed. Love y'all, and I'll see you guys in just a second.